Sure, he loves that.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. It feels like it's been an age. It almost feels like it's the start of a new season, but that's also because I was a little bit missing in action over the festive period. But we're here to review all of the Christmas racing. There was plenty of it, loads of good stuff. As always, joined by Joe. Joe, how are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, Liam. Chuffed to have Pete on, good friend of mine, Pete. So loads of good racing to talk about. Good judge with us too. Jamie's going to jump in at some point, isn't he? So yeah, all good, mate. All good.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Jamie is on his way. He's just got a little bit of life admin that's disrupted him, but he'll be along shortly. Pete, really good to have you on the show, mate. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm really good. Yeah, thanks for having me on, lads. Love the Christmas racing. Can't wait to just chat more racing. All gearing up ready for the DRF and Cheltenham now. 4 weeks to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Are you going by any chance, Pete?
I don't want to talk about it. This was like there's after the last few years, I was like, I can't go because I focus so strongly on it, and it's fallen really well that it just sets up perfectly for me to go. Then my missus is like, oh yeah, well I'm away that weekend, so I can't go. And so I'll be watching from the couch.
As will I think, mate. As will I. Great stuff. We'll get straight into it. There's plenty of stuff over Christmas. We're going to start with the long walk. And Joe, I'm going to come to you first because one of your fancies in our anti-post
Mm,
lined up here ran really well. I thought he was going to be between the two JP horses, but one managed to split them. What did
yeah,
you make of the run from Honesty Policy first time up?
yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. This is a proper horse. One of my better anti-post bets so far. Anyway, from 25 to 1, he's into about 5 to 1 second favorite now. But I've mentioned this so often, but this was a horse that made his rules debut in January, sorry. And then he ran in a maiden hurdle, finished second. But in 3 months' time, 3 months later, he was a Grade 1 winner at Aintree. And then went on to finish half a length behind Jasmine DeVoe and the Albert Bartlett. The Albert Bartlett winner at Punchestown. This run at Ascot is sort of 5 runs into his career. He finished the neck behind a fully fit imposed Trois with an official rating of 156. He's a length and a half behind. Um, sorry, I'm getting all confused, lads, tonight. But he was a neck behind Strong Leader and a length and a half behind Imposed Trois. He had only had 5 hurdle starts coming into this race against like seasoned, proper Grade 1 stayers, regardless of the level you think they're at. Like this was a fully fit, sort of strong leader that he only just got beat by. He was actually quite keen early as well, lost his position as well, sort of coming towards 2 out, then finished strongly again, like 5, 6 hurdle races into his career. This is a horse going places. Um, I think Impostoire is really good too, so I'm not saying he's going to be miles better than Impostoire, but you'd have to say honestly, policy is open to so much improvement. What he's achieved already in a very short space of time from January to April, he's then come out and run this sort of races. It's massive. He has to be a big fancy at Cheltenham.
I was going to say, Joe, sorry to interrupt. Did you think the keenness was just due to freshness and
Yeah,
that would come out of him from his first start?
yeah, he'll be much sharper as well. And the fact that after that he'd lost his position and then still stayed on to close the gap, like he's got loads in hand still. This is a proper animal. He's probably not going to go chasing next year, especially if he wins the Stays Hurdle. But I think he'd be a cracking chaser if they decided to go down that way. But this is a powerful stay in hurdler, and he's not going to be far away in March. He's done very little racing. He's already a Grade 1 winner. He's got a huge engine. This one. Hopefully, Pete can back me up there a little bit. You a fan as well, Pete?
Yeah, Joe's pretty much covered all of it. Me and Joe had a conversation at the end of the summer. We were both in the exact same boat, and it was just a question of
Mm,
waiting to hear from Gordon Elliott to push that button and say, "Yeah, he's going hurdling, he's going staying, he's going chasing." And as soon as obviously the light came through, and it was like 25 to 1, you're laughing really. So I couldn't really have asked for much more in regards to his debut. Yeah, of course he could have won the first time in open company. That would have been nice, but I just think he didn't do a lot wrong. And the things that he did wrong were all minor things that you just say
mm.
6 months freshness, keen. The only slight query that I did have was obviously Gordon Elliott says right, that'll be it. We'll wait, and next run will be the stayers. And at the time, I thought I kind of would have liked another one to knock the freshness out of him, but at the same time, like he's so unexposed. What do you do if you have another run in say 4 weeks' time in soft or heavy ground, 3 miles, and you end up slogging it out?
Yeah.
Like if you look at who was the horse that finished second behind the New Lion?
Where at?
Gordon Elliott,
The
the
yellow
No,
clay.
Turners. Yeah,
The
yeah.
yellow
You look
clay.
at the yellow clay, like he looks written off because of obviously how hard a race he had. So Yeah, I'm really keen on him. And Impose Trois, though, I think he's one of those where I think it's very difficult to assess how much he's got in hand.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't write him off, but I do like the Pep, especially honesty policy. Yeah, really looking forward to March now with him.
Perfect. Jamie Wren, perfect timing because we've spent loads of it gassing in the green room behind the camera. So we're only on race one, the long walk.
Oh, jeez, I thought I'd
Yeah,
get away with 2 or 3 or 4.
you've
Not a
missed
chance.
nothing.
Not a chance. Has the market got these the right way around when you're looking at the stayers, Jamie? Honesty policy top price 5-1. Yeah, he's been beaten by Impose Trois, who is sevens. Would you have them
Right.
that way round, or do you think that the Henderson horse is better value?
Oh, without doubt. The Henderson horse is better value. But it was a great run, Liam. Very eye-catching. But my problem with honesty policy, I think he needs 3.5 miles because you see he gets going closer to the line. Do you know what I mean? And it was the same with Jasmine DeVoe. He should have beaten Jasmine DeVoe that day, but that little bit extra. I think Impose Trois is really good. I think 7-1 is still a good price. It's a grade 1 winner. It was second in the Coral Cup last year to Jimmy Desai. It's used to go on handicap pace. So the quicker they go, the further he's going to win by. I'll put it that way, Joe. And I would take on the Irish horses. I think he's only dangerous with Bob Ollinger. I couldn't have Tupu. Unless it's soft heavy, Tupu's no chance. Absolutely no chance. But Bob Ollinger's run the last day we'll get onto him was eye-catching in that division. But I think the winner's Impose Trois. I think he's really good and he's former around Cheltenham. What more do you want?
Yeah, well, I think we may as well call this Rob Call versus JP rather than the stayers.
Correct. Yeah,
It'll be a cracker though. In all honesty, it will be a cracker. We've got some the fact we've got honesty policy and Impose Trois in here amongst some others. It'll be a proper...
and Bob and Tiapu from last year.
Exactly.
This is it's a proper stayers. It's really
and
good.
I'll put a 50 pence into the machine there. If Jimmy Desai bombs in his next chase start, he'll be in the stairs hurdle too.
Do you think so? That'd be interesting.
And he's a huge danger at all because I think they missed a trick. Willie Mullins doesn't send his good horses to the stairs hurdle at all. So I think they said, "Oh, we'll go chasing." They should have campaigned him as a stairs hurdle horse. I think he'd be a massive player in it if he didn't go chasing.
We did discuss this right at the beginning of the season. I think the possibility of him being that sort of caliber horse. I'd certainly forgive him his last run though. Maybe based on ground. Maybe he's a little bit ground dependent. To need a bit of the good
I totally agree with you there, Joe, because he didn't jump out of the ground in Limerick.
Yeah.
Because he was mustered on his first start and obviously beat the big Western who's come out and frankly fall. But we've got an awful lot to get through. Let's move on to Boxing Day and let's get this race out of the way, please. I'm going to start with you though, Pete. You were very sensible and professional during the anti-post leading up to this and had a good number of them covered towards the head of the market. Almost came a cropper with Banbridge going back to back as we were just discussing backstage. But ultimately, the jukebox man got up, Django Bay was outpaced and Gaelic Warrior potentially you could take out the race for the Gold Cup as well. What did you make of the race as a whole? I loved it, apart from the result.
Yeah, I loved it. Is obviously the concept of the race. It was great seeing the finish and stuff. It was a bit of a 2 furlong final finish, and obviously you've mentioned 4 of them, but that's without obviously mentioning Factor File in the background as well. I thought it had everything. It wasn't really ran like anything like a normal King George. I'm not actually sure how much we learned going forward. Like it's very tricky to assess that. And the irony was, like, I did back the jukebox man, literally Cheltenham week, March last year, massive, obviously after timing now. But close to the race, he was one of the horses that I was going less and less. I was going more and more away from, just because I thought he had such beating obviously Iroko. Everyone was beating Iroko because he didn't want to win, and I just thought you'd been given an absolute gimme there, which was a perfect prep. And I thought him and Django Bray went in with the perfect preps rather than Factor File and Gaelic Warrior. Look, going forwards, I think you've got the likes of Gaelic Warrior to take out of it. And I like Django Bay going forwards as well to take out of it for both of those two with regards to the Gold Cup. I'm not convinced which way. I'm not convinced Gaelic Warrior will 100% go to the Gold Cup. I've just got this feeling that depending on what is next, I was asking Joe today in the group that what will the prep, where will Gaelic Warrior go next? Because he's not going to go to the DRF Gold Cup because he doesn't like Leopardstown. So will he run again? Will he go fresh? And will they get cold feet late on, like Vitor style, and last minute be like, okay, we've only got to beat Factor File, whereas we've got to beat. But the Gold Cup's the Gold Cup; it's wide open. So, in a long-winded way, I think the two to take out of it to go forward for me was Django Bay and Factor File. Gaelic Warrior.
Perfect. Jay, come the end of the season, obviously the jukebox man was the best on the day, but who will have had the best season when all is said and done out of those four that were crossing the line in a line pretty much?
The third and fourth. Um, I think Django Bay is a massive. I think they. I know what Pete's saying about Gaelic Warrior, but it's only one Gold Cup. I understand that, but they did bottle it 1 year before it's over when he was beaten by Q Card. I will say that, and he's dead right there. Um, I still think Gaelic Warrior won the Gold Cup. I wouldn't be put off. A lot of people are saying because Patrick's going to be on it. Like Patrick Mullen to give him a great ride last year in the Grade One in entry, beat Grey Dawning. If people stop tipping Grey Dawning for the Gold Cup, please stop. He's absolutely
I
no
couldn't
chance in the
believe
Gold
that
Cup.
today. I've
I
read that
couldn't believe
same
it. The
today.
amount of people have texted me or people I know said Grey Dawning in the Gold Cup. Go to Specsavers. I know I'm blind myself, but
It's just been going around on Twitter or something, has it?
oh, a load of people are
Yeah,
putting them up. I
I
couldn't
think I
have
read
them
two
onto
columns.
Sundays.
I read two columns on it, I think, today.
But Gaelic Warrior, I think run the Gold Cup. The sprint up the straight didn't suit him, Liam. I don't think the sprints up the straight suited Django Bay either. That's just me. And I think he's a massive, massive, huge danger to be factified in the Ryanair. He shouldn't go in the Gold Cup. He's won over course and distance on the new track over the Ryanair track, right? It was a novice handicap, wasn't it, that day?
Yeah,
Uh,
another case, yeah, he beat
yeah. I think he is a huge danger to factify. He's no chance in the Gold Cup. No, none whatsoever. I don't think he stays. I think 2.5 miles in Ryanair if they went quick, he'd be a huge danger for Factify. Yeah. Banbridge won't turn up at Cheltenham ever again, and the winner will run in the Gold Cup, and he'll be out the back of the telly when they turn in. That's just me. That's my opinion at the moment. Factifile, I suppose, a little bit worried about Factifile. I think Factifile was backed off the board to beat Marine and Punchestown, bombed out. Tried everything to go past Gaelic War in the dirt again, didn't do it. And then all of a sudden then was absolutely lifeless in this King George. So I'm a little bit worried about Factifile. That's why I had a bet today on Django Bay for the Ryanair, because I think he'll beat him.
You're throwing your money down the drain, Jamie. He's going to win the big one.
No, he won't. No, he's no chance to go.
Joe, fact to file, people started suggesting that he was a little bit broken or his heart was broken by Gallopin last year. Same sort of accusations are being thrown his way this year after obviously the running the John Durkin. Do you buy into that much yourself, mate? Or
Well,
he's getting a bigger and more value price the more he drifts?
well, at the beginning of the season, I would have said that Factify was your Cheltenham banker. I've done a complete U-turn. I have. I that was a big worry to me. I've never been one to say this horse broke his heart. This horse broke his heart. But Gaelic Warrior, I think, broke Factify's heart at Punchestown. The King George was absolutely perfect for him. They sort of rode him for speed, which is what they planned to do. They had him sitting slightly off the pace. It was everything was A1 for him, and he found absolutely nothing. I am concerned about that. I am because I thought he'd be fresher, even though he had a hard race in the John Dirk, and I just still think we'd find out more. I haven't really worked out who I think is going to come out and win the Gold Cup from that, to be honest. Jukebox Man, I think, is actually going to give people a bigger run for their money than they think. I was with Pete. I thought he was going to get swallowed up. The Jukebox Man. I thought he'd go out in front and then they just sort of catch him, but he actually made a mistake and then found again. Perhaps he's a really, really good strong stayer, and the 3 mile 2 might help him. But I'm still sort of on the edge a little bit, not quite sure who I fancy. Obviously, I've put up Gaelic Warrior in my Discord. Jamie's a big fan of him too. It's like he's got to have a massive chance. I just haven't pinned my colours down just yet. But fact, my takeout is that Factify, I'd be deeply concerned about him going forward. That's for sure.
Fair enough. Just for what it's worth, my opinion on the race would be the fact that I think it's starting to become a really good betting heat, but I think it's quite poor in terms of strength and depth. When you start to look at, I know the way you're thinking, just a horse I haven't taken to, even though he's the current champion, galloping a 10-year-old, and then a lot of unproven and question marks around the likes of Django, Jukebox Man, Gaelic Warrior. I think the lure of the Gold Cup after winning the King George, it's too much not to go for it. I think the last horse that won the King George that didn't then go on to winning the Gold Cup is literally
Alaho or something like that. I know he didn't win the race, but they try. He went. I suppose he did
Win
that
the King
after.
George and not running the Gold Cup.
yeah, it's like before Christ. They always do. Banbridge, even last year, who was never going to stay the trip, especially the undulating track, he's still lined up there. So I think they'll definitely have a go, and they're more entitled to. But yeah, it'll be interesting come the day as to what will happen with
My
them.
my call on I know the way you're thinking is starting to ring true, isn't it? I said he won't win a race this season, and
Wait
so
till the
far
DRF.
I
Wait
haven't
till the DRF. Wait
I
till the
haven't
DRF.
laid him for a penny though, so I'm not
I
smart.
think
Wait till the
I
DRF.
think you're a bit too early on that one, Joe.
Yeah, I know I'm
I
being
don't I
premature
don't
like
think
that.
he's. I had a look through all his form today, and apart from on his chase debut, he's not got within a horse. He's not got within 7 lengths of a horse before March in his
Hmm.
chase career. So he's never ever got, like, everyone just
Yeah,
seems. And I can totally see where people are coming from, and his price is ridiculous on what we've seen so far. There's a reason why it's there. Like, you ain't going to get someone stacking up to say, "I'll come lay tens." Like, you're not going to see
I
anything from him until February onwards.
Maybe a
I
little bit like Malena Indo just showed up in the spring, typically, didn't he? He didn't
yeah,
do
Uh-huh.
true.
Langer
I
Dan, lads, Langer Dan.
Langer Dan, yeah, there we go.
Don't
I,
also.
start, Pete.
I,
Don't
I,
start.
I hate the horse as well.
Yeah.
they,
Cool.
they, they,
Go on, sorry, Joe.
no, go on. We'll talk about it in a bit. It's fine. It's good. We're
Yeah,
good. Move
perfect.
on. Move
Okay,
on.
we'll skip on. We'll stay at Kempton. Wendigo, Joe, obviously you're the obvious place to start.
Yeah,
Was he outclassed, just outpaced? He still did well to get as close as he did to Kitzbühel.
yeah.
What did you make of the winner as well? I love that jumping performance. It was brilliant on the
Yeah,
island.
he was brilliant. To be honest with you, Liam, as soon as he went off in front and started doing the old Ile Francais jump in, it was game over like straight away. We were never going to catch him from there. He winged everything, but you do go to the finishing line, and we were only sort of 3 lengths behind him in the end. We stayed really, really well. Look, he's going to go to the Brown Advisory next. But what's interesting about him running here this weekend is Jamie said that by running him here in the Cato Star, we know whatever happens for the rest of the season, he's not a King George horse for next year. So that's already been found out. So whatever happens next year, he's not going to the King George. So we can target around that now. So the stiffer track at Cheltenham's obviously going to help. A lot of people have said, get him into the National Hunt Chase because he is likely to have a prep at Ayr on the 29th.
He's off a marker 147, I've noticed, though.
Yes, so I was going to say he's having a prep at Ayr on the 29th. So there would be the opportunity to drop him a couple of pounds, but I don't really like the idea of that anyway, to be honest, just sending him there for a run. It's like we've got a grade 2 novice chase winner. Send him to the Browns. We ran a big race in the Bartlett last year. It's like, go for it. Like, I'm really looking forward to whatever he does. He's probably going to come up short. I'm under no illusion, but great to see. And any mistakes, like Wendigo's not going to be doing any better than he is at the end of the race. Same in the Challow when he chased down the new line and things like that. So I'm just excited to be involved with him. And he ran a great race, but take nothing away for the winner. He was dynamite. He was dynamite, yeah.
Absolutely no way he'll line up in an Ultima, Joe.
No, he's going for the Browns. Browns, Browns, Browns.
Fair enough. Would you give the winner any chance in a Browns, Jamie?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I
Interesting.
would. Yeah,
You
I would.
like you like him at Cheltenham,
He's
do you,
very
Joe?
good. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. I suppose there's a doubt that he's. I don't think he's ever won left-handed, is he? Or since
I'm
all
not
tie,
sure.
He was second in all tie before he came over to when the Donnellys bought him. I understand that. Um, he might be a bit ground dependent too, because that was good ground and right-handed. I'm like, I think it was 8-9 to 1 for next year's King George.
Good
I
price.
think I'd advise anybody to back it now. To have a little nibble if you want. Look, you're going to be waiting 11 months and your heart's going to be in your mouth. I understand that part. Uh, at first glance, I was really worried about the form, but like Thomas More has got a handicap mark now of 147, so I wouldn't put up anyway. He's definitely going to the ultimate, I'd say. Uh, Wendigo wasn't just wasn't in love with the track, Liam. Just wasn't in love with the track. And I said beforehand, look, if he's going there and the British handicapper drops him £2 for a lifeless run in air, oh my God, he's an absolute certainty for the national chase off 145. Absolutely, you might as well go down and collect, bend down, picking it up. But he's an ultimate Grand National horse to me, and I think we've confirmed that, Joe.
Hmm.
So I'd have him all day for a Grand National. I think he's tailor made for a Grand National eventually. But hopefully the British handicapper's a
You'll be
bit
thinking he's going to
lenient.
go. I was going to say you'll be thinking he's going to go back to back now, aren't you, Jamie? Though in the Grand National, you said 2027.
Yeah, both. I hope he wins both of them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no. All jokes aside, name. I think if Racing Club, no offense, Joe, would be fools if he gets to 145, he should be running National Chase. I think he'd win it with his mouth open. He's no chance of being in the first three in the Browns.
I
Sorry.
reckon he's got a chance of being third.
Yeah, if you get a poor bookie, gives you four places in the grade one in the Browns. Yeah, back him to be
Look, it
fourth.
might cut up quite a bit as well, the Browns. You might have like Jimmy DeSoy, Final Demand, the Big Westerner.
Romeo Coolio.
Oh God, we'll get onto that. We'll get onto
Yeah.
that.
Pete, anything else to add with regards to these two? I'm in complete disagreement with Jamie with regards to Kitzbühel, so perhaps you can break the deadlock. I think he's a flat track horse all day long. I don't think he'd take to Cheltenham personally. I'm not sure if you'd have a differing opinion, and he would be on your radar as a bet for March.
No, I'd agree. I'd agree with you. Just regards Kitzbühel, I just think he's just one of those quick, whippy sort of like he was flying around there, a bit like Elea Francais. Kempton's quite a unique track. I do think certain horses really take to it, and he got out into that rhythm, and he was just. By the time he got to 2 out, he was literally just his whole body was going. The way he's whipping his legs around, like he was loving himself, but he's very exuberant, and that's a lot. If you get soft ground in March, obviously for the Browns, I'm not sure whether his exuberance, whether it would be a little bit too much to carry that. Regards Wendigo, I'd agree with Joe. Like in fact, I'd agree with all of you because I think he would have a great chance if he could get in something like the National Hunt Chase, and maybe a race like that might suit. But at the same time, I could see the Browns. Like there's a lot of horses that are either yet to try 3 miles or might be questionable stayers. I can't see that being the case of Wendigo. He may not be quick enough to obviously run into the places or to finish, but there aren't going to be many that are staying on. He might be left like I don't know. He might be 10 lengths, 15 lengths behind coming to the second last or whatever. But if he's not, he's going to be staying on a lot better, and I think he still could get something a bit of excitement and getting the prize money sort of thing. Whereas even if you say if he's what 147, 148, and you think he's a Browns contender, he's going to have to be say 150, 155 maybe. He might bolt up in a handicap, but he might bump into something from Ireland that's been 10, £15 laid out all season. So
Nice to see him highly tried though, and I'm sure
yeah,
we'd
they're
all
going
agree
for
that,
it.
like,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're going for it all.
Mm,
Yeah,
love it.
absolutely. We want horses to compete at the top level until they really
Mm,
know that they can't compete there. And I think a return to Cheltenham, he was unfortunate last season, roll the dice, fair enough.
mm.
Sir Gino, Pete, I'm going to stick with you. Where do you think he'll end up running? I think the answer's relatively clear, but where do you think, or where would you prefer him to go, pocket talk aside? So he's been quoted as 18 to 1 for the champion chase, was obviously given an entry yesterday by Nicky, and he's at the head of the market for the champion hurdle.
Oh, I think he'll win the champion hurdle. I think he is the best horse in training right now. I think whether it be champion hurdle, champion chase, I just think he's just absolutely incredible with the amount of talent he's got. But I just don't think you go to champion chase. I think he's had what is he? I don't think he's ever ran since beating Ballyburn, who obviously was not meant for chasing, staying. So you could put a lot of question marks on that. But everything about that chase debut was so impressive. But to keep it simple, I just think you've got to go to the champion hurdle. Every now and again, Nicky starts talking like this week. He's started mentioning Constitution Hill again and shuffling boards and stuff. Like if you send that horse chasing to suit Constitution Hill, and then he either doesn't turn up or he falls at the second last or whatever, like the Donnellys have got to turn around and just be like, no. I understand if say Amsterdam ran a huge race at the DRF and that came into the contention, which could well be the case. It would not surprise me. Amsterdam's working the house down. I think we might send Lossiemouth to the mares. Oh, what a coincidence! No one saw that coming. So I could see that side of it, but as far as I'm concerned, I see Sergino running there, and I don't think they'll see which way he's gone. I think he's just providing he's knocked some of that keenness out. I did expect him maybe to run in January at Trials Day. I'm not sure he'll do it because it's not a Nicky Henderson thing to take on any sort of credible rival that close to the festival. If he does, brilliant. But no, I just think he's just too impressive right now.
Joe, some people trying to pour cold water on Sergino's performance in the Christmas hurdle. I wasn't sure if they were watching it from a distance or they'd had too much to drink on Christmas Day. I thought he was mustard. What did you make of it?
Yeah, like Constitution Hill's comeback was just as impressive as that. I don't see what the issue was. Like he's amazing. He came back from 333 days off the track. It's not like he was off like for even a couple of months. He's been off the track a long time. Anyone who ultimately thinks that is his peak performance as well is seriously underestimating, and there's loads more to come. And the fact is, as well, is that it's not like he needs to be ridden out and given a serious clip by Nico. He's almost like a galloping 2 mile. He's just shaking the reins and he's just doing it all for him. Like I know he jumps quite big, but I don't mind that at all. You're not going to see Sergino on the deck, and his engine's big enough to counteract it anyway. I'm not a man for doubles and trebles and all of this stuff, but I've actually backed Sergino with a few other horses in plenty of doubles this week. Yeah, we're on Wednesday, so I think he's an absolute good thing at Cheltenham. Yeah, and thank God he's not going for the champion chase. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, no.
Uh, don't- Mind
Jamie,
yourself there with that statement, but
Jamie, in a hypothetical world, how many lengths does he beat Marine Nationale by if he does line up there?
10.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it though.
It would be
Hopefully next
amazing.
year.
Go on, Jamie, give us your analysis of it.
Oh, he's super. He's a superstar. He'd want to come down a bit lower with the jumping though when it comes to Cheltenham in the champion hurdle. Just a tad. It's a bit high. It's a bit high. But look, it's his first run coming back from winning the Wayward Dad the year before. So he jumps like a chaser. Hopefully that'll get a bit lower. Uh, exactly what Pete said. He won't turn up against the new line in 2 weeks' time, 2.5 weeks' time again in the Unibet hurdle because it's not Nicky Henderson's style. But Pete is after stealing my thunder because I totally agree with him. If Amsterdam wins that race at the DRF, could be a switcheroo, and Joseph over there in the corner be like, "Oh no, oh no." But no, he's mustard, Liam, and if he turns up in the champion hurdle, even though I know I love the new line, but nothing beats Sir Gino, and last him out last him out running the mares now. That's what's going to happen now. So, unfortunately, but yeah, he's a superstar. Brilliant.
He needs to make it a third time lucky though and get to Cheltenham, doesn't he?
That's
As
the
well?
problem. That's another problem. Yeah,
Mm.
but
Needs to
Odds
do that.
odds on for
be
both
very
those as
worried
well.
about Amsterdam,
Yeah.
Joe, at the DRF.
Say that again.
Be very worried about Amsterdam at the
Oh,
DRF.
geez, I don't know. I'm not even sure. I'll just take it as it comes. I won't even analyze that yet.
You better be back on though, Joe, for the champion hurdle.
Well, I know. I'll have a bit of Amsterdam then at 20s, but then I'll have Gino. Surely he's going champion or whatever. But
A
yeah,
couple
no, I'm happy where I am. I'm in a better position anti-post this year than I was last year anyway. So
of happy days.
so far so good.
A couple of things I found quite interesting. I think Ruby alluded to it a lot. I was watching it from home on Boxing Day. The fact that he jumps over his hurdles and lands hind first, essentially. So
Oh, right.
that and he jumps like a chaser, as Jamie had mentioned. So the fact that he still just has the engine, even though his jumping isn't that suited to hurdling, and how good he is, he's just mustard, isn't he? The other thing was Johnny Deneen mentioned about Joe Donnelly. He seems quite a passive owner in the sense that I don't think he'd be kicking doors down at Close Sutton or at Seven Barrows, suggesting that these horses need to
No,
go here or there. So
no,
I don't think that will really occur anyhow. So you can rest
no.
easy.
I've had a few conversations with Johnny about it, and he's always said Joe Donnelly, he's a massive, just massive fan of the sport, like, and his main trainers are Nicky Henderson and Willie Mullins. You don't need to tell those guys to do anything, and I feel like that's his approach. So
Yeah.
they go wherever the trainers feel, which is why we've seen so many go up against each other, Shishka and Asterion for Lange and things like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mind, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Absolutely, yeah. Sport comes first to a degree from that perspective, which is always.
Yeah, yeah.
We will stay in the UK. The Form B, ruined by the lack of obstacles. Pete, I thought this was a massive overreaction from the market, given the fact that the obstacles were omitted and Harry Skelton, for some reason, thought he was sat on Frankel because he waited an awful long time trying to look pretty stylish, in my opinion, to get there and get up on the line. Did you feel it was an overreaction? Do you think My Daddy Paddy at 12-1 is a bit too big, given what he'd done prior to the Form B?
Yeah, I echo everything you just said. I literally had my thumb on the Twitter ready presser. I just thought, no, not today, mate. Just take it off. Just give it a break. I just thought, like, such a fine line between confidence and arrogance of a jockey. And I just thought, as soon as he sat off it, it was like, does he not know the hurdles are gone? Like, you're literally going up against, I think he finished fourth or fifth in the champion bumper. I said, you're giving him 3 lengths, you're giving others 3 lengths. He was so electric at his hurdles. I was really impressed with his jumping. He did so much right, but the finish, I was just like, when are you going to go for this? And it was written as if it was a piece of work. And it was almost like the Skeltons got in and they were like, yeah, we didn't win, but we're not too disappointed. We're like, I said, we've got something out of it. We're ready to go. But what was surprised me was he went straight out to 20s. By the end of the day, he was like 16s. And I've just checked today, and he's close to 10s across the board again now. Like, so that someone is still hammering into him. So no, I wouldn't. I backed him early doors at 20s or 25s, and I haven't given up on that slip. Yeah, okay, it's obviously deflating, but I'd be fairly confident in a strongly run Supreme big field that he's going to relish that challenge, and I wouldn't be guaranteeing that that form won't get reversed straight away.
No, absolutely. I've been in agreement. Jamie, we probably should have started with the winner, really, rather than the runner-up, and give the winner a bit of credit. Idaho Sun, now 16 to 1 top prize for the race. What did you make of the race as a whole? I know it's a pain in the backside given.
It was a disaster, Liam, but I agree with you as well, and exactly what Peter's saying. Like, exactly, what do you think he was on? See the stars or Frankel? Like, do you know what I mean? Seriously, or Batash in a 3 furlong sprint. Um, I'm on early doors, obviously, with my daddy Paddy. Supreme is going to be deep, and we'll get onto horses. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be very deep, and he'd want to be very good to beat horses that we'll mention. But I wouldn't give up on him. But what slightly worried about me, Liam, is that when he kept tried to get to Idaho's Son, he went that way towards the rail, and Skelton was kind of trying to keep him straight. Where
It's
Idaho's Son
heavy
was very,
momentum.
yeah, yeah, and Idaho's Son was very straightforward.
Mm.
And I hate to say about a grade one or an Idaho's Son, I wouldn't back him with your money for Supreme. So that'll tell you the depth of the Supreme at the moment, uh, ahead of my Daddy Paddy and Idaho's Son, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Joe, any difference of opinion? And what do you make of My Daddy Paddy?
I've never been a fan of his, have I? I've got a weird thing for some reason that when a hype horse comes along, I don't want to be with it. I don't know why that is. I've always been this way. Um, I've never really latched onto him. The form, obviously, of his hurdles so far.
What are you on about?
What?
A high horse like Bree Nash Neville, what he's bumper at
He
Clarny,
wasn't a
then you
hype
hype
horse. No,
train
no,
it.
no, no.
I'll go way now.
He wasn't a
Way
hype
fucking.
horse. He's never been a hype horse.
You're
Oh,
getting
you
yelled at
stop.
now.
Stop.
Oh, didn't mean that. It looked like I was angry. He's never been a hype horse. He won his bumper, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
no
was there
one.
when he won his bumper. Yeah.
There's no
I
Barry's
remember very
horses
well.
that are hype horses. That there is a reason why he drifts, regardless of who he is against. He is not a hype horse. Anyway, not interested in My Daddy Paddy. No, I think it's a lame excuse to say that the hurdles made that much of a losing situation from a race because it was the same for Idaho Sun. The only time he'd been beat was in the champion bumper. He's a good horse himself, I think. I think they probably got the ride wrong if they understood maybe like Jamie was saying, if they, if they gave Idaho Sun a bit more credit pre-race, perhaps they wouldn't have rode him that way and they would get closer. But I wouldn't say it's the hurdles necessarily that's changed the result. I do think that in hindsight they could ride him a little bit different, but they know it now. And like you said, people are writing him off, but it is an education thing, and he'll probably come better for it. But where I put him, I don't know at the moment in that market. I'm struggling.
Yeah, I think it was a mix of disrespect for the opposition and too much enthusiasm, too much belief in My Daddy Paddy. That's for sure with the ride that was given. Joe, seems like you didn't have much of an opinion on that. The Triumph division, we've
Yes.
got our favourite Narciso Has. What did you make of him?
Yeah, love this, love this one. This was the first proper juvenile performance that I thought, well, here we go. You've got your one to beat now. This was awesome. He's really fast as well. He did some real strong sectionals. He's by Dr. Dino, so you'd expect all of that speed. He's got some good form in France with a horse called no. I'm thinking of someone else actually, but still, he was really impressive. Yeah, Dr. Dino, 2 mile winner, got better as the race went on. People are giving Monge 2 a bit of discredit now, saying that form will be reversed. Maybe it will, but you're still getting 10 to 1 at the moment about Monge 2 for a Triumph hurdle. And when we're not going to see too many more, that's still a fair price. But Narciso has, yeah, absolutely the one to beat at the moment. We're not, I don't think we're going to see Matan Midier Soir, who's got a huge reputation in France behind Leopard de Burle. He's not going to run in the Triumph. He'd have been out already. We're going to see Proactive and Macho Man, the JP horse and the Donnelly horse. 2 real nice profiles. I prefer Macho Man there. But there's not a lot else to come out of the woodwork. I think Narciso Has is absolutely the one to beat. Obviously, when Majborough won it, he made his debut in the Spring Juvenile at the DRF and then came good next time out of the Triumph. But I don't see too many more in the juvenile pack at the moment. Narciso, they're going to have to be serious animals to beat this favourite, and it's not a market I latch onto, but he is absolutely the right favourite. Yeah, absolutely.
Joe, am I correct in saying that Proactif has already beaten Macho Man over in France?
Yes, yeah, but
Prefer the second.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, proper horse, like proper horse. When you look at these French races as well, it's similar to points. Some are absolutely geared up to the nines to win their debuts and things like that. Matt, yeah, he looks like a horse that's just going to take massive step forward, huge step forward. I don't like Proactive. I don't even know why, Liam. I just don't. like him. But Macho Man, really big eye catcher.
Cool. Jamie, is this thing bomb-proof based on everything that we've seen so far? Is 5 to 1 still decent value? No. Okay.
No, I wouldn't touch him for the triumph. It's desperate price. I know the time was very good, but you have to watch back the race, Liam, with your eyes. He looks an awkward ride. In fairness, give Danny Mullins credit where credit is due. I thought he gave him a great ride, but he looks very awkward to me. I couldn't have him for the Triumph Hurdle. There's so much water under the bridge yet when it comes to the Triumph Hurdle. I probably saw better horses in him run over Christmas than him. Um, I take him on at the DRF. I would, yeah. I take him on. I don't like him at all. I don't know what people are thinking there. There's too many horses to come out, Liam, and I like
I
we know.
don't think there are, James. I don't
Oh,
think
there
there
is.
are.
Willie
I
Mullins
don't
has
think
20
so.
something juveniles
Yeah,
in his armory.
I've had a look
So,
at some. I'm not so
you,
sure.
like you never see the Triumph Hurdle winner before Christmas. Never. Definitely Desai maybe was that probably the last one in my memory. No, I couldn't have him, Liam. I think 5 to 1 is a rotten price, and I think he's the biggest lay of the meeting.
Oh, I do need to correct myself quickly, Liam. Proactive and Macho Man, they didn't run against each other. They both won first time out. So
Oh, that's my bad joke.
I was getting in a pickle trying to figure them out. But anyway, yeah.
Pete, what did you make of this current JP favourite at the top of the market? Is there anything that's on your radar that perhaps nobody else is really considering or thinking about for the Triumph? Perhaps that
I've,
haven't seen yet.
well, I've actually been looking at this race today. Um, regards Narciso House, I'm more on the Joe side that I thought this was a strong sort of like there's your benchmark, come at us. Monge 2 is worth considering. I think she was getting £3. Obviously, she'll get the full 7 next time. So I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the guaranteed to reverse," and he was so powerful in the finish. So there's no question that he won't relish the hill. So they could do, may not do. I'm not sure. I don't even know if both of them two are going to end up. Obviously, Narciso has will go. I don't know if Monge 2. I presume she'll go to the DRF. Regards, obviously, Joe was just mentioned there, Macho Man and Proactive. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but they're both currently entered and potentially declared tomorrow for Saturday due to clash. I looked through both of theirs, and they both ran over the same course and distance, similar conditions, different days. Proactive was slightly faster. I don't think there's a lot in it. It's going to be interesting to see how those two get on, because if one of those two stamps on the other one with a big, pretty impressive performance, then suddenly the market's going to spin on its head again. So it's a pretty tricky market, because we used to get, like, say, a Lossiemau for a Sir Gino, and there'd be two really impressive French horses come from the same French race that everyone's won, and that would be it. And it would be like, right, do you go French, or do you try and look for something over here that's come from the flat? And in the recent years, it's all been the French horses. But this year, for whatever reason, we've got, like Jamie said, there's so many that Willie's got. I don't know who he could end up running. Obviously, these two on the weekend, one beats the other impressively. But then you could turn up at the DRF, think you're on the right one. And then at the DRF, he could run another 4 or 5 that haven't been seen, plus the 2 impressive ones he's got here, chuck them all in there, and then like another one comes up. So I think the benchmark's laid down, though, with Narciso has, but there's all to play for at the moment.
Go on.
I was just going to throw a question out there. Just in terms, do you think that potentially buying methods and habits of these owners and trainers are changing, in the sense that they're buying more juveniles earlier, and we're seeing even more flat horses coming over to run over jumps? We've got Sons and Lovers, the Reverend, Sober is going to line up.
Yeah, he's a nice one. He's a nice horse. Yeah,
it's changing a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I did have a look at the Reverend, sort of like, because I don't tend to buy into these horses that have had like a strong flat campaign. I don't mind if they've had a few runs, but I don't like them to have like Sober's a 7-year-old. Like,
He won the Queen Alexander, Joe, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ascot, like proper horse.
2 miles 5 furlongs.
Yeah, look, but
I know they crawled for about 1.5 miles. I understand now.
But he's been buying horses like Ethical Diamond and Absurd, and they're like good enough to win on the flat. So maybe it's just with that sort of thing in mind, because you still saw Absurd like line up in a county, and there's plenty of sort of like plenty of versatile horses. But the buying in general is much different now, because owners have got to take a chance as soon as a French run race has been run. Because if not, it's going to end up at Mullins, and if Mullins hasn't snapped it up, then you're wondering why it's not with Mullins, sort of thing. So, whereas it's obviously quite apparent that when Kato Star was bought, he had about 10 starts in France before he joined Paul Nicholls, and then went on to win Tingle Creeks Gold Cups and everything. So if you're not quick now, then you are gonna struggle and miss the boat, which is why Dan Scouston's being smart, buying a lot more horses from over there first time out. Happy to spend the big money on French recruits and point to pointers as well. But this is where I'm at, see, with the juveniles, why I've got a slightly different opinion to maybe Jamie and Pete here, is that I've had a look at a lot of his horses. I don't think there's many more juveniles to come. And I also think it might have backfired that he's bought so many this year. There's a lot that have just gone by the wayside. There's a ton of horses still for Rich Ritchie to come out. You've also got Gaelic Warriors, like sort of two brothers. There's loads of horses that haven't been able to make it to the racetrack. I don't think it's been planned very well this year. That might look. I might just be ignorant, and I'm not telling anyone. I don't obviously train a horse, but I don't see where it's all coming from this year. I don't see it. Where we knew about Madge
Any
growing.
changes with regards to the purchasing process there, Joe? Like
Yeah.
somebody hasn't left, have they? And then being
No.
replaced with somebody else who's responsible for bloodstock.
No. It's always Pierre, Harold, Kirk. Like you've always got the same people sourcing the horses. So every time you see a horse that's been bought by Harold Kirk, that is going to Willie Mullins, for example. And even with Mange 2, even with Mange 2, Gordon Elliott was there the day that she won at Compiègne by 15 lengths, and he bought her there and then sort of thing. Same with like that Lascard du Matin and sort of thing. You've got to buy it there, because if not, they're gone. You got no chance. So unless English trainers go over there and start sourcing French horses, you're never, ever, ever going to catch up. Certainly not in the novice ranks in the juvenile division. You might in time when you go and these horses go chasing and things, but you have to be on the ground now. And the thing is, Willie Mullins has got agents absolutely everywhere. You got no chance. You need to spend the money, like otherwise you're not getting anything. And you got to be quick about it. But you might end up with some dross. But you have to take your chance. It's risky business. Risky business.
Go on then, Pete. We'll skip on.
Yeah. So the other thing that I was just going to say was worth bearing in mind. Obviously, a lot of trainers are under pressure that they need to get these out and all of the work. It's like, but Willie Mullins, he was more than happy. Obviously, Poneros being an example, but in a less obviously extreme example, Willie Mullins is more than happy to let these horses acclimatise. He might have all of them in his stable. He might skip them for a year. You might see some of them, obviously they can't make the Triumph debut sort of thing. They might run at DRF and then they might run in the Triumph. He might run them somewhere else and then he runs them as novices next year. So he has got zero interest in rushing a horse. So he might bring in 20 juveniles, 20 who he's intending for like novice hurdles. You might see a few here and there, and then they'll just be brought around next year. So just because they've all gone in and everyone's getting mega excited, there's no guarantee they make the track. But I do think there will be plenty more to come between now and the DRF. Like I think the favourite for the Triumph post DRF will be the horse that you more than likely want to be on for sure.
Yeah,
it's really interesting. Perhaps it's a task for you, Joe, because you'd be far better at it than I. But looking through to see those that are still maidens that Willie's purchased, whether they're the ones that haven't seen a racecourse yet, because their novice status will remain for next season.
The one example I'll say about that, Liam, was the year I first met Joe at the DRF. He was all over Gala Mars. Was it Gala Mars or was it Cargiesi?
Cargiesi in the spring juvenile.
Yeah, you back Cargiesi, and I said the Triumph Hurdle winners in third.
Yeah, and he was.
You know what I mean? So that's what you're kind of basing it on. I wouldn't be overly worried if the winner of the Triumph doesn't win the race at the DRF. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, depending on where they're at in their season.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. You get someone come out and run a massive race first time out, you're just thinking, Jesus, how's that proper race, the spring juvenile, like, and
another great race.
Yeah, oh, I love it. Can't wait. Yeah, another great race.
Absolutely. And as Joe mentioned, obviously Magsborough came out of the DRF. Lalamba, who almost won it last year and then obviously did win at Punchestown, he wasn't out until February, I don't think, at Kempton or somewhere like that. So there's probably plenty more to come. We'll move on. A horse that I think has grabbed your heart, Joe, from the KTDA lads, Romeo Coolio.
Yeah.
Or Brown. Where is he going?
Yeah.
Where do you think he's going to go? Where would you send him?
Do you know what? I'd send him to the Browns, and he's going to run in the Arkle. That's what will happen, I think. I really do. I speak to Dave almost daily, and he doesn't know himself. So this is no BS or anything. They are just going to wait and see how it plans out. And look, as the owners, they're well entitled to. They don't have to make any decisions right now. He's not going to go in the Ryanair, but he is going to end up either in the Arkle or Browns. I honestly believe that he can. It's hard. It's a bit irrational for me to say I think he'll beat Final Demand over 3 miles initially, because there's not a lot to go on. But from what I see in the horse, I think he'll beat him. If it's not soft ground, I honestly think Final Demand is vulnerable. But I don't I wouldn't be afraid if I was Romeo Coolio's to go up in trip, but I would be a little bit concerned to take on Lulamba, Copec de Boer, Cargasi over 2 miles. I think it's a much harder
Right.
race to win. Yeah, but if they go to the Brown Advisory, I think if you can beat Final Demand, you've got the win. And he's got a bit of toe to him as well. Like such a good jumper, proper big, powerful horse. But I think he'll end up in the Arkle.
Fair enough. Pete, Joe has glossed over ground there, but he was mentioned. Do you think that's what it comes down to? Ground will dictate where he ends up.
Yeah, 100%. Just obviously going on the KDT, I've got my
KPDA.
words.
Just keep the dream alive, they've called it.
Yeah, yeah. Those boys are so refreshing. Just the way, obviously, you get a bit of content on Twitter, you get people interact it. It's brilliant. Like when they obviously you get a bit of a feel. I really
Yeah.
like that, and they obviously put their opinions out there. It's like like when you feel like you own the horse, sort of thing. You want to say, "Oh yeah, we want to do it." It's the same with the Copac de Boards lads. So I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So regards, I just think, like me and Joe kind of touched on it yesterday. I think they're kind of in a bit of a rock and a hard place. I think that the ground is going to dictate where they go, and rightly so, because I do think you're going to have a much better chance against in the Browns. But I still think it's a big ask. There's going to be horses in there in the Browns that are going to be proper stayers, and also you have got Final Demand. I know we don't know an awful lot about him. We don't know what part of Jimmy Dessau, whether he just ran no race, but he goes through any sort of ground. I think Final Demand's been very impressive so far. I do think Romeo Coolio has looked a different horse over a fence, but I just don't know where to put him. I find it really hard that if Kopech the Boards is back, I find it hard to see how he finishes in front of him. And I know a lot of people wanted the 2 mile 4 novice chase gone, but that was one race I could have quite happily kept. Last year they've all said, "Oh yeah, great, we'll have big fields." We had I think 4 or 5 runners in the Arkle and 9 runners in the Brown Advisory. It had no effect whatsoever. I just wish I don't want to see horses skip Cheltenham, but I wish they'd just boycott or something or find a way because there's so many races you could get rid of. You just didn't need to get rid of that race. It's a perfect stepping stone.
Jamie, with regards to this market, I think we all know where your head's at. You don't think, unless it's changed over Christmas, you don't think Romeo Coolio stands much of a
I'll be
chance
back in a minute.
in the Arkle, do you, mate?
He's no chance in the Arkle, and I agree what Joe was saying is that they're going to wait that if it's a monsoon or not. Liam, to be honest with you, like Gaelic Warriors race when he beat Found a 50 and Elite Tomp was a swamp. So if it's a swamp, he's a chance. But you have to remember the Arkle's a mile 7.5. It's not 2 miles. I know Django Bay won it last year. I understand that. But he'd really want a huge pace collapse and people have fallen in a hole like Django Bay did. No offense to Django Bay, who I fancy for Ryanair. It's just that he'd need that, I think, as well. He was outpaced by Irish Panther in Leopardstown. And to be honest with you, Leopardstown outside track and the chase track is always good ground. Sorry, yielding, which is good stuff. So he got outpaced in that. So he's absolutely, if it's like good to soft, they'll call it soft and they want to chat them, whatever. If it's normal kind of year, he's no chance of going to pace. And that's just me. He's a great horse, and I would love him in the Browns because I think if you have the Browns like the way Factive File won and they go a crawl, oh my God, he'd beat Final Event for Speed Up Dale, no problem. And Final Man on good ground compared to Romeo Coolio. Well, I think Final Man is the shoe in that people think he is. That's just me at the moment.
Yeah,
And you
same
have
thing.
Kitzbühel, who's going to take it up in front of everybody, who's going to test everybody's jumping with Danny Mullins on board because he was on Dancing City last year. So I don't know. There's a lot of what, but we all know he'd the biggest certainty of all time for the old JLT over 2.5 miles. Like it's a simple thing. All you have to do, right, because it's open and novices go in it, right? Get rid of the mare's chase. These horses would then run in
Oh,
Gold Cups and then
yeah.
would run in the JLT.
Yeah.
Shattered Love won a JLT.
She was so
So
good. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's argument over. Mare's chase has to go out of the first one. Has to go is Mare's chase, even though it could be a deep race this year. Even though there's one with Spindlebrae, we'll get onto that. But no, I think he'll run in the Browns, and I think they'd be fools not to run in the Browns.
I think he will as well, but I think this also points to the benefit of getting rid of one of those novice races.
That's true. Yeah.
You'd have Lulamba versus Romeo Coolio in over 2.5 miles, and you have penalty kicks for Final Demand and for Kopech de Boards. So at least we're going to get clashes.
Yeah.
and there's going to be more competitive. Let's hope.
Just quickly, Liam, just imagine though if they do go to the Arkle, and then Al Kairos bolts up in the Supreme, and you got the KTDA flags, and then Romeo Coolio wins the Arkle, the second race, and you got more KTDA flags. Wouldn't it just be amazing? So you got a dream, you got a dream. I'd love to see them boys win it. It'd be amazing. I really would.
It's full of them like a football match.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, it'd be brilliant. Proper good group they are.
I know we're going to touch on any eye catchers or horses that you think may win next time out, or with a view to later in the season. I'm going to come back to all of them at the end, and we're just going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
blast through a few more,
yeah.
lads. We're only on the 27th. So the Welsh National Haiti
Ooh.
Claus broke my heart. I was on deafening silence at big prices, ran a cracking race. That horse has got wins in it. However, Haiti Claus bounced back. Jay, I was really impressed with how this horse just went from the front. Bowen quickened it up, slowed it down. I thought it was a great performance and really good to bounce back from the disappointment of the Betfair chase.
Yeah, what happened in the Betfair chase? That's my biggest question, Liam. Do you know what I mean?
Two quick turnaround, do you think, for the Pertemps qualifier?
Maybe, yeah. I think they got the fright of their life when they won the Pertemps qualifier, but
How long was the gap though from that to this? It wasn't that
couple of
long,
weeks.
was
I
it?
don't know. I think the thing with Haiti Colors is like, is he just a good handicapper or get a soft lead? Do you know what I mean? And the other side of that as well is that he'd need to be in front in the Gold Cup, because if they go a proper old pace, old style Gold Cup gallop, he'd be pulled up
He's not
jumping
going to
the
pick.
one in front of the stand second time around. Do you know what I mean?
He's not going to
So
pick him off, is he? Like he's not going to like
yeah.
start
So he'll need to be in
crawling.
front. If he's not in front by jumping the second in the Gold Cup, lay. That's just me. After the run, I know he had a sore something after the Betfair chase and it's treatable and all that. I don't know. I think he's just a good handicapper. He'd run the Gold Cup, he'd run the Grand National. Would I back him on a good Grand National? Not a hope in the world. That's just me. And he's a great horse, and there's no doubt about that. He's won an Irish National, he's won a Welsh National. But going forward, do I see him winning another race this season? No.
You don't. Okay, interesting. Joe, any differing of opinion?
No, we move on. Great performance. Send him where they like. They've achieved enough. Do what they want.
Correct.
Cool. Back to
Mm.
Kempton in that case. Mambo number 5. I started to get quite interested in this horse for Ben Pauling. I
Yeah.
thought slightly outpaced, stayed on well, won really well in the Wayward Lad. Joe, what did you make of it? Has he got any chance going for the Arkle, which looks to be the aim?
No, but get him in there because he deserves to be there, and it's another proper runner in there as well. Now, I just will mention when we have Ben Pauling's great to us, Liam, as you know, he's on with us every year. But last season we were talking about horses that he'd just bought. Mambo number 5 was a big money purchase, and he said he's big, he's raw. He said he'd be nothing what you'll see this year. What happens next year is when he'll turn into a proper horse, and he's winning races now over 2 miles, like he said he would. The following year, he's like he'll be a proper horse. This is like a 2.5, 3 miler, but he's winning races over 2 miles. Like it is that case of you've got no right to be winning these races, but his talent is getting him through these every single time. He absolutely annihilated the likes of like Lump Sum and things like that last time in the Wayward Lad. He's winning at a variety of courses. Like this is a proper good horse. He's probably 10% short of a Lulamba and Kopek and stuff like that. But you wait till next year and you're talking about him as like a Ryanair horse and things like that. That's a proper good animal, really good horse. And again, he's like this. This is former Kempton. Like who knows, you might have a King George horse on your hand next year as well. So
Yeah, quite possibly.
yeah.
I completely agree, Joe. Step up and Triple C into better effect.
Mm.
Any markets for the 2026 Paddy Power Gold Cup yet?
Oh no, but that's a nice shout. I do like that. Yeah, I like that.
Tracker for
There we go.
November.
Yeah.
Jamie, anything more to add? 25 to 1 probably might be a little bit out of his depth. Obviously, now no longer will get the weight for age allowance now that he's turned 5.
I
But,
think, I think Liam, he'll end up in the race that we'll get on to the next winner. I think he'll win that next year. Would I be in love with him for an Arkle? No. Maybe he needs to step up and trip. I wouldn't disagree with that. But I think if you dare and you want to have, if you lost on Boxing Day or Stephen's Day, and you want to have a massive bet on a horse in the Desert Orchid Chase next year, I'd back Mambo number 5 all day.
fair enough. Fair enough. We'll
Nice.
stay with the 2 milers. Thistleass, Jamie, is he an outsider contender?
Yeah, he would be, Liam. Yeah, I'm starting to like him. I think he's a good horse. He'll get a lot of horses. Maybe he's just going to go out in front, in a champion chase, and just say, "Catch me if you can. If you're good enough, you're good enough." If you're not, you're not. Man, he's come from nowhere, hasn't he? He's come from, geez, being low rated handicapper to being actually.
Mm.
But do you know what I mean? Yeah, he might be. Look, you never know. It's a champion chase. We've seen
Mm.
1 to 4 shots beaten plenty of times in champion chases. So, yeah, would you love to own him? Good horse, and yeah,
Want
apparently he's going to the Clarence house. So more luck to the Scottons.
Want a handicap chase? Closest wins a chocolate bar off me next time I see the pair of you. Want a handicap chase? February of last year. Closest wins. What mark was he off? February last year when he won at Musselburgh in a Class 3.
119.
Lower, lower.
Go
He,
on,
Jesus.
go on then,
he
Joe.
he's won 1-4. 1-4. 1-4.
Joe, are you a chocolate bar of your choice? 108 he was off.
We call that a Hershey's kiss.
What is he now? 158?
He's got £50, yeah.
That's massive. And to be fair to him, like Jamie said, he's really likable because it's not like he's winning by a couple of lengths and digging it out. He's like so exuberant. He just pings everything, just never looks in any danger. He's like a little bit of a thistle crack, like to watch him run, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. Don't know if I'd back him, Liam, but he'd make you look silly if you don't, because the clues are there that he's still improving.
No, absolutely. Yeah, continuing to improve. Lightly raced, only the 13 starts under rules for a 9-year-old. Yeah, I think he's probably a little bit of a live outsider as well. So, yeah, well worth considering. Leopardstown, Cargeese. Do you think she goes to the Arkle, Jamie? And can you have them?
Massive player. Liam. Huge player. I really like her. Forget about the race against Caliconte the last day. She's never been good on seasonal debut. And I might be talking nonsense on that, but
No,
it
you're
was
not. You're absolutely spot on. Yeah.
borderline unraceable at Cork that day. She's not in love with soft ground like Caliconte is like that way. The time was very good. I backed her for the Arkle the last day. She was 10 to 1. I can't resist her. Look, Tisselas might be a pain in her behind. Do you know what I mean?
In the
I
race, in the race.
Yeah, I think.
I see.
But the only thing is that I watched the county back. I tipped her last year on Joe's show and the handicap special we did. I was all over for the county Arnold. So what I like is that she sat behind in the county and then she went on the new track, which is great. Townend's probably the best jockey. Townend's not. I wouldn't be in love with Townend 100%, but he rides the new track better than anybody, right? Especially over hurdles, right? Because he gets that rail every time. But the only thing I was latching on to Liam was that Carnegie sat second, third the county all the way. So at least if Thistle gives it a bit of a lead, I think Carnegie is a much classier horse, obviously, than Thistle, regardless of the £7, right? Hopefully that he'll track Thistle and then it'll take a good horse to go past Carnegie, because I'm still not in love with Lalama's jumping over 2 miles, and there's a big doubt. It's not a big doubt. Like, no offense to the McCarthy's, they know what they have. But Kopek the board would want to be coming out at the DRF, because if he doesn't, Cargis is the #1 then.
Fair enough. Anything to add, Joe?
No, apart from this last go running the champion chase, won't he? Not the Arkle, because he's had.
Oh, sorry. It was in my head, but
no, that's fine, because I went with you, James. I went with you.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, but like. Come back to that.
He's just come onto the scene.
Because Mamo #5 as well, yeah.
Yeah, he's just come onto the scene,
I think
so it feels like a novice, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Just come on the scene.
Carnegie, sorry about that. Carnegie, if we got a lead like a Thistle, sorry, Liam, could be hard to pay back in an early. Because it's a mile 7.5, and she gets a soft lead. Oh wow! I'll take a good horse to catch her.
10-1 still knocking around. So who knows who Jamie might tip on our next anti-post?
I have two. If we should, we've only 3, so I think we should do 4 and 5 the next day.
I bet you do.
And one's Carnegie. Nah, it's not. And then there's a handicapper who's an absolute good thing. But anyway.
We'll move on to the division where Thistle will most likely be lining up. And as we've just talked about him and his potential chances, Marine Nationale, when you do the calculations from some of the data, he lost up to 15 lengths making that mistake, Joe, and still was beaten by what? I know, short head.
Yeah.
He must have been happy after that, mate.
Yeah, like he's still the one to beat in March. Like, he's the best 2 miler around. Certainly at Cheltenham, where he absolutely thrives. It's not necessarily the same with Villa Tom. I think if they had a matchup at Sandown, they'd be pretty damn close to each other. Probably at Leopardstown too. But you get to Cheltenham in March. There's only one winner, Liam. Honestly, I think he's a good thing. He ran. Everyone was saying he's going to come on loads for his first round. He's going to come, and I was sort of again. I'm like his spokesperson, if you like, at this point. I said, but it's not like last year where he had the two starts. He's had a full season. He's had a full summer off. He came out and he'd have won that with plenty in hand, bar that error. So like, absolutely delighted and roll on March. I say I can't wait. Yeah, nothing more to add. I just love him to bits, and he's my Cheltenham banker. Yeah.
Will he line up at the Dublin Racing Festival,
Yeah,
Joe?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Next start, DRF, Cheltenham, Punchestown.
Fair enough. Jamie, I'll come to you then to ask about the other two. Do you think Solness can catch them all cold again at the DRF? I doubt he'd be on your radar for Cheltenham. And what do you do with Madsborough?
Yeah, what you do with Maysborough is the next question, Liam. I just don't know. I don't know. I really don't. Look, Mark Walsh went for a gap that wasn't there. But would it have won? Probably not. Um, Joe's not going to probably crib me about this, but as you said, it was a 15 lengths that he lost, and he should have. Well, look, if there was no mistake, he'd have won by 10 lengths, right?
3 seconds, I think, which equated to 15 lengths. Yeah.
Seven, 8 lengths. He'd have beaten Solis, right? Put this bench up. Sean Flanagan, I'd kill him if I was Barry Connell. I absolutely murdered him. First time out, doing that to the horse, and he nearly won the race. Take a steer, wait for the DRF, and wait for Cheltenham.
That is a good point. That is a fair point. Fair point.
Relax. That's all he needs to do. What was he doing? He killed a horse to try to beat Solness, Liam. What was he doing? Horse, no offense, Joe. You know, he's a bit tad fragile, right? But when he's brilliant, he's brilliant. What was he doing? I couldn't believe I was watching it. I was like,
that's fair.
What was he doing?
I hadn't actually considered that, really.
Could have took a bit of bite off him, Liam. Now, what I will say is that for Marine National fans like Joe, Solness might get a soft lead. We all know he does. He loves Leopardstown, all that. What Marine National doesn't want is Ilete Tomp turning off. But I think Ilete Tomp will go to the Cairns house, so it'll be your grand there.
Good.
Majborough needs just a different jockey, because all you need to do with Majborough over 2 miles is let him go. And look, if he bombs out, he bombs out. Look, you could see down the back straight, Mark Walsh's hands were here, and he was trying to pull him back. What was he doing? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I tell you one thing. Barry Connell is a rootless man. And what he did to Brian Cooper, and he got Danny Mullins on our corner. Sean Flanagan, I'd kill him. I'd have murdered him inside. I'd have been arrested anyway if I was older. I'd have killed him, because he should have not pulled him up, but didn't kill the horse to try to win a grade one.
Let's see. We'll find out.
We'll find out at the DRF. I understand that. I find out at the DRF, but I'd be serious worried at the DRF. I would be, regardless of who turns up, because
the analysis that was
he shouldn't have done it. That's just me.
The analysis that was done by Ruby Walsh, and I think maybe just to play devil's advocate, just offer a different side to it. That the analysis done by Ruby Walsh that I did see was the fact that the horse made zero mistake in that moment, jumping that fence.
Yeah, I understand that.
It was Sean Flanagan who made the mistake, and therefore maybe
he let him go. Yeah.
That does ring true, and that is correct. And Ruby would know far better than me. Then therefore he possibly panicked because it's his own mistake he's trying to correct rather than the horse. And so just to play devil's advocate.
Look, a grade one's a grade one, but I'd have killed him. Sorry, that's just me. As an owner, I'd have killed him.
Leopardstown hasn't been his best yet as well. Obviously, at the DRF first time he bombed out in the Irish Arkle, didn't he? And then
I was soft ground that day, Joe. It was terrible ground that day.
And then obviously Solness beaten last year. Look, Barry has made it quite clear what he wants to do. And he wants to win another 2 champion chases, so it is ultimately all about Cheltenham. But he was fit and ready to go first time out. Looked like it too. And look, everyone beats John Bond by 8 lengths, don't they? Apart from Marine National, who beats him by 18. So yeah, I loved it. He gave a right bit of stick, didn't he?
He did
through for the interview, and people didn't.
Yeah, come back from when Marine National was 9 grade ones.
Oh, mate. But I love it. People give out in this game about how people aren't open.
He did it. He did it to clutch a few feathers, which is fantastic.
Look, and so what? He's got the champion. Bring it on. Barry gives a bit of fight talk. It's amazing. I'm such a huge fan of him and the yard in Marine. It's just I love it. I love the fight talk. He said everyone. He said everyone beats John Bond by 8 lengths. You could argue he was being modest because Marine beat him by 18. And then he went back to the Punchestown. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait for March. Really good. Just
On the
meanwhile, because I won't know.
27th at Leopardstown, did we potentially see two novice hurdle winners in the same race? Would Talk the Talk of one, Pete, and Skylight Hustle, is that horse a live player for the Turners?
Talk definitely would have won. Skylar Hustle, not sure regards Turners. I've been kind of dismissive of quite a few of these horses over Christmas, just that I'm not like the likes of El Kairos and all of these. So I'm not overly convinced that we've seen the best horses, as in they're still yet to come. But similar to the juvenile scene, this might be the best of the crop, and there aren't any others to come. So I'm not sure. I just think I think Talk the Talk would have handled Skylar Hustle. I know Jack Kennedy put in a pretty bullish sort of, oh yeah, we would still have plenty at the line, but no, I think convincingly Talk the Talk was the one to take out that race.
No, fair enough. Joe, is he a live player for you in the Supreme Talk the Talk?
Not sure, not sure. I just want to just not sure because I don't know what I think of Skylight Hustle. I think the one to take out of the race is actually Love Me Tender. Finished about 8 lengths back. Um, at one point, this horse was favourite for the Royal Bond at about even money when the shade odds on. Didn't go, but it sort of ran no race here. Shown no love like in the market really here and ran a pretty good race. I just think there's a lot more to come from that horse. Skylight Hustle, I think he's an out and out 2 miler. I just don't think he's good enough for a Supreme, but I don't think that makes him a Turner's horse. Not a lot to say on the race really. Just a bit of waffle.
One thing I will say, Love Me Tender might have a start in January, a start in February, and then that is 5 runs, and he's owned by JP.
Maybe so, maybe so. Good horse as well, I think, in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
definitely, especially if it doesn't put in particularly good performances the next two times out, we might
Mm.
get a favourable handicap mark.
Yeah.
Talk the talk. There's a decent form line into a horse that I think's been forgotten at 66 to 1 in the Supreme market, that does have a form line with Talk the Talk. What do you think of that horse's chances of being in the frame in the Supreme?
I still think there's three better than him, Liam. He's a bit leggy, and for a horse that then, see what I don't like what Gordon Elliott said, right, is that, oh, he's all speed. Then after the race, they're saying he's now going to the Turners.
You could
So,
blame Al Kairos for that.
you're correct. Um, I think he's probably sixth talk to talk in the list of the Supreme horses. Before you don't have Willie Munn's horse, and then you have El Kairas, Old Park Star, Mossy Fen Road. Yeah, best of luck to you if you're going to beat those three.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Where's the Willie Mullins horse and where's Talk to Talk and all that? No, 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 no. Like Talk to Talk's going to be probably favourite for the 2 mile novice race at the DRF. I wouldn't back him with Germany.
Fair enough. Obviously, rather than me speaking cryptically, the horse I alluded to was Sober Glory. I think a lot of people have forgotten about him, given that he blew out at Sandown. However, he beat Cadastrel by 12 lengths, who then subsequently won for Dan Skelton. Cadastrel also beat Talk the Talk in the £100,000 Goffs bumper by 4 lengths last year. I appreciate bumpers translating to hurdles form. He's not an exact form line to be following, but given that he's 66 to 1 for one poor performance, he's bolted up at Chepstow, a course that form usually translates quite well to Cheltenham. So yeah, I'd have a second look at that market. There could be a LeBake like type in here, couldn't there, this year? There could be something that just parachutes in and bolts in a massive price, I
I
think.
think you're going to get a 16 runner Supreme, Liam, which is great to see.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more, definitely. Big Westerner and Jade de Grugy. Where do you think these will line up next? Joe, I'll come to you because I know you're a big fan of this mare.
Yeah, I love the big Westerner, and she'll go to the Brown Advisory. Unless you've got heavy ground, you're not going to see her in a mare's chase, I don't think. Regardless of where they think she's got the best chance, you've got to run her, I feel, where her attributes come out. And she's not like your Dino Blues and your Spindlebreeze, your Cargazes, only by night with speed. She's a proper gallop, and she's more like a Gowden, honestly. She needs soft ground of 3 miles to be seen to her best. She can live with them as well. She was only a neck or whatever it was behind Jasmine DeVoe in the Bartlett. I've always my favourite mare in training. She's a beautiful thing. She is. Half sister or full sister to Stay Away Faye won the Bartlett. Just all stamina in the pedigree. Like she's a proper contender in the Browns. I wouldn't write her off. I wouldn't write her off.
Jamie, do you think Henry could split his two that he's potentially got? Say we get soft ground, softish ground. Cocktail Divan goes to the Browns, and she goes to the Mare's Chase. Or do you think she definitely goes to the Browns?
I think they'll both run, and I think that it's Mike O'Connor's right from now on.
What
Um,
on Big Westerner?
yeah, because Derek he's
No.
going to be on Cocktails event. 100%, yeah.
I love Cocktail Demand, but I'll tell you now, Dara loves his
100%.
mare.
Unless it's a swamp, Big West there's no chance in the Browns. If you put me the gun to my head, if it's a proper heavy ground Irish national, there's your Irish national winner.
Yeah, I can see that. I
Yeah,
can
and
definitely
Jay
see
de
that.
Grugy, I think Liam, to be honest with you, was outstayed by a stare. Looked the winner, has more speed in the Big Westerner. Didn't like the ground slightly, but I don't think it's a love with chasing, so she should go back to Mares early.
Fair enough. Pete, do you have any different opinion on either of those mares? And you may as well touch on Cocktail Divan because we're going to stay in Ireland as we move into the 28th as well.
I thought Cocktail de Van was really impressive. I think he threatened to do that. I think he was many people's handicap banker, and I think a lot of people were watching Henry count all the runs up and thinking this is our horse ready for probably the 2 mile four, the Jack Richards or whatever is a Turner's novice
What
handicap trip.
Cocktail Divan? You think?
Yeah,
Don't think he's a
yeah,
graded
because
animal? No. Oh
well,
well.
no,
No, I
now, yeah,
agree with Pete
before that,
before I go away there
Yeah,
for one
yeah.
sec.
oh
I
yeah,
I
yeah.
totally agree because when he beat by Oscar's brother, I thought he was 137. I thought he was a certainty for the Jack Richard.
Yeah,
Fair
oh
enough.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. No, that they were. I thought they were just going to keep teeing it up, like as in what they've done, and then you'd see the performances just done at
Yeah.
Christmas time. You would have seen that at the festival. I just think they've. I don't know what. I think that field that Cocktail de Van beat were all handicappers, like horse like Kiss Will. Shuffle
Yeah.
the Deck is massively high up on my shortlist for March, but was so impressive in doing so. It gave me like that A Plus Tard vibes, when ripped apart that handicap chase at Cheltenham a
Not the
few
novice
years ago.
chase. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So impressed there, and I do think maybe the one to beat of those two. Again, the big Westerner is so tough because she's such a good horse.
Mm,
I just like you say, I don't think the Mare's Chase is the race for her.
yeah.
The Browns will suit, but again, it just depends on what comes up against. Like obviously, even the likes of Jimmy DeSille, if he's back on song, I think she's got a fair few to beat in there. So again, it comes down to ground. I've been saying this for the last
Yeah.
18 months. Like I don't know what's going on with the ground. Like we had what I call Marine Nationale ground last year, where it's like that perfect optimal. Like even when it's got soft in it, it's like the nice soft. It's like the perfect like racing strip
Nice and
ground.
fresh.
You're not getting that mucky ground. And if we have that same again this year, then obviously she's not going to like a race like Mare's Chase.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. I prefer Cocktail Divan of the two, but none of them would be top on my list to be honest.
No, I'm in complete agreement. We've kind of touched on this race, so we'll just fleetingly look at the Rob Core pair. Tiupu and Bob Ollinger. I was so impressed by Tiupu, a horse I've never
Mm.
really taken to, always wanted to take on. I feel he's more bomb-proof this year than any other year when people thought he's a good thing. Can he regain, Joe?
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't actually think he's in love with Cheltenham in hindsight, really. Now we've seen him for a little bit, and maybe that's why we see him as a little bit vulnerable. I just like the improvers. For once, we've got some in the race. We've got, like we said, honesty, policy, and pose toi. I'm probably going to look. As you know, I put up honesty policy at 25. I'm probably going to have a piece of impose toi too. I love Tia Hoopu. I just want to take the improvers. Bob Ollinger, everyone was saying, oh, he was an eye catcher, and yeah, he's 4 from 4 at Cheltenham. I think that was actually a downgraded run, in my opinion. I think people are looking at that wrong. I don't think he's going to come on much for that. I think he may well now have had his day. Yeah, I think we might get a JP 1, 2, Tia Hoopu back in third. Yeah, yeah, I do.
Days. Jamie, would you be in agreement? In fact, do you think Tiupu's better than ever? I was really impressed with him over Christmas, and as I just said to Joe, a horse I've not really taken to in the past.
Yeah, he was. I couldn't believe he's run last year at Punchestown, really, to be honest with you, Liam, because it was goodish ground and he won. Was the field great? Probably not. I think he needs to have the heavy ground to be seen his best at Cheltenham. Look, the first year I can't believe he was beaten by Sorry to Burley. Then the following year he won and it was soft heavy and look, it was not a great renewal really. Um, he looks like he's getting better, but I think if you go really, really quick in the stairs, or like I said about Impose Trois, Tupo is very much 100% behind the rail, and he could get outpaced, and then he goes on again. He doesn't have a kick. Do you know what I mean? Where Bob Olinger had the kick to beat him last year. Do you know what I mean? No, it was a fantastic ride by Rachel Blackmore. There's no doubt about it. I thought Darrow Keefe gave him a great ride first time back after the stairs hurdle. He was seriously eye catching. It's like honesty policy. They were both eye catching, but I still think like exactly what Pete said is that a Marine National ground last year with Bob Olinger getting the same ground in the stairs as well. If it's like it was last year, it's Bob Olinger versus Impose Etoile.
Pete, I'll just finally come to you and then we'll skip on. People were crowning Ballyburn as the Gold Cup 2020, well, this year, wasn't it? 2026 winner after he won the Turners. What would you be doing with him now? Would you even be bothering with Cheltenham? Is he stuck between no man's land or has he got a chance in either the 3 mile or the 2 mile hurdle division?
I don't know. I think the alarm bells were ringing when at the start of the season, when both Ruby and Patrick, when they were asked about it, they were both commenting that it may take him like a year to adjust and acclimatise back to hurdling and to work out what they want to do. Like if they're going to settle him into a 3 miler, he needs to learn to settle better. Like he can't go with his head carriage down on the floor. And the only take I got out of it was that it was quite tough punting across the Boxing Day onwards. And I just thought there are poor people out there that have backed Ballyburn very strongly today, and they will have backed him for the stayers, thinking he was a cracking bet at like a short price and he was going to hose up. And obviously, he was just nowhere to be seen. I really do not know. Like I know people have thrown in put him in the champion hurdle, and then others are saying we'll still throw him in the stayers. I looked today, and he's been backed for the stayers again, like he's a sea of blue. But I just don't know. He's just a hard avoid for me at the moment.
About 2-1 in places, I think, Joe, prior to Christmas. Now 16s again. As
Yeah.
the volatile
Yeah.
with one horse.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that just points out a typical thing these days where hype gets taken into account. He had no right to be that price. He didn't have the form to be that price. It was obscene. Certainly over 3 miles. So yeah, I'm just not interested in backing quirky horses. You're on the back foot before the tapes are gone up. So
Absolutely. At Leopardstown, the return of the king. Galloping was back. He didn't quite manage to get the job done. Jamie, I'll start with you. What did you make of his reappearance? And I know the way you're thinking we've already touched on, but I suppose also mention the winner. It's probably the best place to start. We keep forgetting to mention those. I certainly do. Affordale Fury. But what did you make of Galloping's return as well?
Oh, fantastic return. There's no doubt about that. After Fury, would you back for a Gold Cup? No. Jumps to the right. I got away because Gallopin wasn't race fit. Gallopin never wins first time out lane. We all know that. Regardless if it's Dirk in God knows where, it doesn't make a difference. Um, I thought it was a huge eye-catching run from my Maximus, though. Love Derek O'Connor, and Derek O'Connor's a great jockey. Probably better than all the jockeys that ever finished in the first try. But yeah, look, you know my opinion on Gallopin and the Champ. I wouldn't back him in the Gold Cup. I think the Irish Gold Cup is his Gold Cup. If he gets to the front in the Irish Gold Cup, there's no one going to beat him. We all know that. But we touched on it earlier. I know the way you're thinking is going to be very close in the Irish Gold Cup, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. I would disagree with that vehemently. Joe, what did you make of it? Do you think that Iron Maximus is actually JP's best chance of a Gold Cup winner?
yeah, I love him. Yeah, I think he's got a massive chance. I do. He's certainly been campaigned like they're trying towards that way, because if not, they're just demolishing his handicap mark. He's like a transformed horse. He started with Nicky Henderson winning a maiden hurdle, gone on to win sort of Irish Nationals, a Grand National, could win a Gold Cup. That would be some feat. We know the Mullins team like to do it. But with Affordale Fury, what happened here at Leopardstown is exactly what happened with I Know the Way You're Thinking in the Gold Cup. You look in the paddock, you see Galopan's not fit. You see Lecky Watson's being ran towards a Grand National. You see horses that have really been struggling this year. You think, well, I'll tell you who is primed. Affordale Fury, and the grounds come right for him. And that is what I think happened with I Know the Way You're Thinking in the Gold Cup. He was never campaigned as a Gold Cup horse, but as soon as the weather started falling in his favour, a few things weren't necessarily adding up with other horses. The money came, he ran his race, and that's it. I don't think you'll see either of these two win a graded race again. I Know the Way You're Thinking, or Affordale Fury. They're not good enough. They've just had races that have completely fallen into their lap. People want to get carried away with that, they can, but these have got no chance at Cheltenham. Neither of them.
Pete,
Whoa!
Pete, Joe's made obviously quite a stern dismissal, really, I suppose, of that victory by Affordale Fury. I think we're all guilty of it. Are too many people looking for excuses as to why others didn't win the race, as opposed to giving credit as to why one did? And is that why he's still 20-1? And is that a bet?
No, not at all. I cannot see him win a Gold Cup at all. I just think that, well, even looking at it now and looking at the result, I think one horse was there for his Gold Cup, and nearly all of these were there for their first run.
Mm.
Like Galloping Deschamps was having his actual first run. The likes of Iron Maximus, Grange Clare West, Lecky Watson, none of them got in the. I know the way you're thinking. Not one of them. They basically just went for like a hat canter out the back. Like I know everyone says, well, this is I know the way you think his second run. He should take a huge step forward, and I know the betting obviously showed that originally. But in reality, none of them did a stroke because they just watched two absolute superstars over 2 mile 4 go hammer and tong from the start. And the only two horses that did try and get into it, the likes of Fast or Slow, got absolutely hammered 20 lengths and then didn't really improve on it from then. So I'd put a huge line through this. Like I've rewatched it a few times today, and the proximity of the likes of you've got Grange Clare West, Monty Star, Iron Maximus all finishing so close to Galloping Deschamps. Like if you ran this race again in 4 weeks' time, I'd be shocked if probably Galloping Deschamps may be winning it or at least going very close. And I'd like to hope Gavin's really going to pull his finger out. And I know the way you're thinking is going to be a lot closer then. But again, it might not be until March. I know obviously Joe's got really strong opinions against I know the way you're thinking, but I just don't think you win Gold Cups, and you don't win Gold Cups like that. The way, like, you can say whatever you like about I know the way you're thinking, like, and all of the likes, but Galloping Deschamps is as solid as they come. Even if he's not ran his full entire race, even if the ground's perfect for one and not for the other, he is as solid as you come for a yardstick. And he was swept past like he wasn't even there. Like I just don't think you do it in the way he won the Kim Muir as well, the way he won at Aintree, being like the likes of Iroko and stuff like that. Like I can't say that he's not a good horse. I know all his form is coming at the back end of the season, but if you get to Cheltenham and obviously he's beaten in the Gold Cup, then I can totally see where obviously, and it's one of those where yeah, you were completely right. But I just don't think. I think the DRF you'll see a lot better. I don't think this is a great crop at all. Like this race, like I can see why everyone's getting excited by the King George crowd, because a lot of these in here, like most of them are Grand National horses.
Yeah.
They either already ran in it or they will be in it this year. Like nearly all of them, and they were only beaten. Like the first 7 were only 13 lengths from first to 7th. Like the likes of Monty Star's only beaten 8 lengths. Like that's not Gold Cup form. So I'd fully expect this, pretty much all of these, to have little to no chance, bar Galloping Deschamps or I know the way you're thinking. Iron Maximus, maybe, because they're taking the wraps off. But like Joe just said about his handicap, Mark, like he ran in the National last year off a mark of 167. The Irish handicap has still got him sat on 168. So he's only gone up £1 for trying effectively. So he could be one, but I'd question that as well, because of the fact that I just think that it's who was fittest on the day. I think the real judgment day is February when we come to the DRF. You've got to see more from I know the way you're thinking. And if it would not surprise me if Gallopin wins that, and that is his swan song ahead of March.
4 Irish Gold Cups, that would be, wouldn't it, as well? Unbelievable. Never been done, I don't think, has it?
The Raw would be
Florida Pearl was the only one to win 3, I think.
Is he? Yeah. Okay.
Be some Raw.
I just want a horse's name. Gun to your head. They're both currently 6-1. I'll give you a free tenner. Which one are you backing? Galloping or I know the way you're thinking?
Oh, Gallopin every single day.
What, of those two?
Yeah.
I know the way you're thinking. I love Galloping, but there's everything.
I know the way you're thinking as well, yeah.
Everything's against him, the stats and the history.
Yeah. I'll have 20 quid on him instead then, just instead of the 10s.
It's not who finishes in front, it's who's gonna win.
Yeah. Correct.
Like he's the more solid horse, but like the Corto Star regaining age, like everything's like, and I've been his biggest fan, but he's got so much against him now.
I got a feeling he's the one. That's what I basically said, Pete, as well. Don't like the trend, but I think he could be the one to do it. And that missing the Durkin might be a blessing in disguise, But I think they're more. I honestly believe he's more focused on winning an Irish Gold Cup mine first. That's huge, that is, isn't it, for them? And then can't wait. But like you said, maybe not the cream of the crop now, but we've got competitive races pretty much across the festival. It's awesome. Yeah, crowds are going up too, so hopefully we've got a proper festival this year.
Nearly every race has got the old guard coming back, and they've got new contenders. Every race, Like you've got, I don't think there's any odds on shot. It's proper racing this
Yeah.
year.
Cool. King Rasco Grey back into the novices and You Proof. We'll group them both together. Joe, which performance were you more impressed with?
Well, I've tipped you proof for the Turners. I love this horse. This is a proper good horse as well. Again, I know we say, oh, I like this horse. This is a nice horse, blah blah blah. But when I try and be literal when I say I like horse. This is a proper horse, but he's a hurdler. He's not a chaser. So he is absolutely this year's Turner's horse to me. 33 to 1 with Bet365, 25 to 1 with William Hill. So I could only get 25 to 1 in store, but 33 to 1 is available. Now, he was sat on the bridle for absolutely ages. He just sat there, cantering behind them. They knew exactly what was left in the tank coming towards that last. And he beat King's Bucks easily. No problem at all. And he's got obviously good form with Heads Up, no drama this end.
Yeah.
You proof slice through him like butter. Now, in a scenario where we don't know where Willie's novices are coming from, he jumped well. He sat behind the bridle. He got better as the race went on. He actually had a turn of foot as well. Handled the ground, slick jumper, ticks absolutely every box. I cannot believe he's just sat there at 25, 33 to 1. Even if a lot of people don't like each way punting, anti-post, I don't mind it whatsoever. I think as a second day, you can reinvest that money if he sort of places. Proper horse, proper horse. And the good thing about him is he runs in the double green colours too. So you're likely to have Talk the Talk go to the Supreme. That probably confirms You Proof as their horse in my mind for the Turners. This is like Imperi Pass. This is a proper Turner's horse. Yeah, love him.
This horse was one of Patrick Mullins's 5 to follow for
Was
the
he?
season.
It was his first run of the season as well. There you go. There's another thing to beat these fit horses that have been running in good graded races, and he's absolutely demolished them. He's split them in two here. Like he proper animal. This is. He's got speed. He's got stamina. Turner's horse.
Well, I've done my write-up and I've also going to be tipping him
Yes. Well, there we go. I like it. More confidence
Yeah.
behind it.
for the Albert Bartlett.
Oh no! How could you?
I think the further he goes, the better he'll be. But Joe, either way, I'm in complete agreement with everything you said. I loved this performance. I thought he was real good. But apparently he's not going to go to the same path that Final Demand did, supposedly. So he's going to skip the DRF and not go to the 2 mile 6 race there. So maybe that leads actually a little bit more into your theory that they're not going to extend his trip any further.
Yeah.
And perhaps he's going to stay at the intermediate trip. But either way, he looks smart to me. Pete, what did you think?
What price? Sorry, what price do you feel the Bartlett?
25s.
Well, look, I'm not a book builder.
Joe, back down the shop.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's what I was going to say. I was like, look, I'm not a book builder, but you could afford at those prices to back him for both. Like, it's very good horse. This is. Look,
Yeah.
excited.
Pete, what did you make of him? And also, obviously, the one in Galloping Deschamps colours, King Rasco Grey.
Do you know what? It's funny. Like, obviously, all the focus was on Leopardstown and the maiden hurdles on Boxing Day. And I actually think the two to actually take out of Christmas might well have been these two, King Rasco Grey and You Proof. I was really impressed. And it's funny Joe mentions Imperi Pass because every year there's one that kind of goes a little bit more under the radar. And the books don't react. Like everyone's obviously going Talk the Talk, El Kairos, all that way and chasing those down. And I'm surprised that there's, and like obviously King Rasco Grey again was, it was his debut. Wasn't ground you'd like, but he's beaten Champion Bumper, I think it was second or third. Of which we know the form stacks up so well with obviously El Kairos, Idaho Sun, Heads Up, Sortudo, no drama this end, all of that. The Champion Bumper's actually working out really well. And he dismissed him on the bridle very easily. And I just think he's another dark horse who you could easily see turning up for a Turners. And like again, like Joe said, all the prices are sat there, 25s and 33s across the board. And I just think this is these two I'd be more inclined to take. My only issue is obviously until once we get the DRF entries and we see who's just in one or the other, like if you put some all in the 2 mile and 2 mile, but if you put some in one or the other, it kind of at least narrows you down to 2 races. So, but yeah, at the moment, I'm like, I can go to, like Joe said, the shop whenever because no one's talking about him.
Yeah, crazy. If it was tomorrow, people would look through the card and go, Jesus Christ, what's this thing doing down here? Like, they're like, why isn't he 5 to 1 second favourite behind no drama this end? Like, I'm serious as well. I'm not even being smart. He would be a 5 to 1 second favourite.
And King Rasco Grey as well was behind that. Really, remember that really promising Emmett Mullins?
Soldier Milan.
Yeah, absolutely hammered in the back.
Conman John was in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Conman John.
Eclipse Chaser.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. With Mullins, isn't it?
Actually, yes. So in behind, you had Risk Away, Conrad
Risk
John,
away,
Espresso
yeah.
Milan, and Stick to the Plan, who have
Yeah.
all won since.
Persian graded winner, Persian Wolf.
Yeah.
Stick to the plan.
So yeah, I just think these two for me are the two that have gone completely under the radar currently.
What price is King Rasco? What is he?
He's 25 to 1 for Turners.
That is massive, man. That is
I
huge.
think he's 33s. I think he might be for Supreme and the Bartlett. He was 50 pluses on the exchange for Supreme. I saw earlier.
Wow.
25s currently for the Supreme.
Yeah.
For the Turners, he is.
Because we're going to see Sortudo and Sambaco by the looks of it soon as well. And who know if they don't turn out to be too much cop, then you got King Rasco and Newproof probably ahead of him. Like, so
King Rascal go 33s for the Turners.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that race on Friday or the race on Sunday, to be honest. Sunday's full of unexposed ones, but the one on Friday, I'm not sure where to go with that.
Which is on which day? We got the Lawlers, well, like the Ballymore. Is that Friday?
Lawlers is on Friday.
Yeah.
The one we saw two.
I got one. I have, Pete. I've got one.
Creek with that.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's my point again against Willie Mullins.
Yeah,
It's not going to be one of Willie Mullins's.
No, the only thing is, sorry, cutting across you, Pete. St. Becco beat Lazare the Star. Lazare the Star was very impressive at Leopardstown. I know it was only a main, but
hopefully he can. If he can beat Classical Creek, then I've tipped Classical Creek for the Bartlett as well, Pete, at 25. So I just wanted to get nudged up a little bit, like, you know.
But I'm with you totally. The three of you totally is that Limerick is being disrespected for Cheltenham winners. And you have to say that, and you'll all agree with me here. You remember Faheen won there over 3 miles, so do you know what I mean? One minor detail with Brew Proof, I wouldn't put anybody off, no respect to everybody. He's not Imperial Pass, because Imperial Pass won a Moscow Flyer. He's the 2 mile, he won the 2 miles, then he went up.
He's a fresher in Perry Pass.
Yeah.
Joe's just in love with the colours.
Be loving
I like this horse. I
would be more in love with King Rascal Grey. Yeah.
Same race.
No,
I think King Turners, or are you saying
no? I think King Rascal Grey is Nabber Partners.
Oh, you think? Oh, right, interesting. Okay.
He reminds me of a horse that was ruined probably for winning the Albert Bartlett in the Nice Guy, even though Ginto would have won that. He reminds me, Willie Mullins, remember, with the Nice Guy, ran him over 2 miles in like a maiden hurdle or novice hurdle, at Nace over 2 miles, then put him in the Albert Bartlett. So King Rascal Grey was second to Soldier Milan over 2 miles 3. It was 2.5 miles at Punchestown, 2 miles 3, whatever.
Yeah.
So Willie Mullins judges Albert Bartlett horses on can they do that 2 miles. So he's really good, King Rascal Grey. And he beat the right horses too, because I started a joke as a handicap certainty for Charles Burns. So, yeah, I really like King Rascal Grey. Out of the two of them, I think he'll end up in the Albert Bartlett, even though I think Dr. Dumaine will win the Albert Bartlett.
I just wasn't sure about.
Hello.
Because I know
I didn't mind him for both races. It was just how Shuttle Diplomacy was coming rattling at him, and that horse hasn't got an awful lot of form at all. I thought there was far more substance
I'm respecting my local trainer now, please, Liam Ferguson. Thank you. Fergal O'Brien.
Just one horse, that's all. Lads, we'll move on in that case. We've only got a few more to get through. Final Demand, is he unbeatable? We have covered this off a little bit. We've talked about Romeo, but there were kind of conflicting opinions. Some saying it was lackluster and wasn't that good in terms of performance. Others saying, well, if he's lackluster and he still wins that easily, then Jesus, it's an animal. Joe?
Well, he's not going to be a horse that's going to go off and win by 20 lengths. It's just not him. But, like, what you do know is the reason that's not him is because he hasn't got, like, a massive turn of foot or anything. He's just like a galloping 3 miler, 3 mile 2. Like, he's got to have soft in the conditions. I don't think he'd win in a sprint against many horses on faster ground. And if that's the case, then you sort of get caught out like he did in the Turners. I know people are saying, oh, it was ridden incorrectly. And I said, it's nonsense. You don't get beat that easily in a sprint by the yellow clay, for one. You know, he's just got to have soft in the description, Liam. He'd be the short price runner I'd be more than happy to take on. It sort of race I can throw that up as well. We need to know he can handle Cheltenham. Yeah, I'm not sold on him. I don't think it's as obvious as people make out, because people can only seem to pinpoint 2 or 3 points that make him this banker, and I don't think he ticks enough boxes to be odds on, even money, whatever he is.
No, fair enough. Just, I suppose, just try and freshen up the conversation around this race. Can I just throw something out there? So, if I
Mm.
was to say to you, there's a horse who's going to line up against Final Demand, who's had 10 chase starts, loads of experience, has won 4 times, included graded races, has run the Grade One, finishing third in Open Company, has beaten the Savills Chase winner, and has already accumulated £250,000 in prize money chasing, and he's a 7-year-old and is a novice, and he's 33 to 1. Do you not think he's got half a chance and he's definitely overpriced? The horse I'm talking about,
Hang on. What yard? What yard?
Gordon's,
Gordon, over £500,000 prize money.
rated 157.
157. Do you run in a national?
No.
No. Nothing's coming. Nothing. I'm thinking, but
Ran in the
nothing's happening.
Finished 5 lengths behind M4LN and just a length behind Affordale Fury and beat Affordale Fury in a grade 2 before that.
Oh, oh no, I'm thinking of Pinkerton.
Firefox.
No,
Not found a 50.
no.
Oh wait, what am I talking about? Found a 50.
No,
He's not even
no,
like
no. I don't think he's got a
Appreciated.
chance. No.
Is it
This-
Gigginstown?
No, this was his 6, just turned 7. I can't believe he's the price he is. With all
Who
the
owns it? Who owns it?
Weld spec.
Jesus. Oh, is this Western
Weld spec
Diego?
and D. Lestrange.
Western Diego?
No, Western Fold.
That's what I meant. Western Fold.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
what
well that'll be like the counteract as well because he wants fast
The
ground.
Galway
So
plate
Joe's
winner.
talking about Final Demand wanting soft ground,
Yeah, there you
and he
go.
must have fast ground.
So if you get a fast ground 3 miles Browns, a horse that's got that much experience has won 5 of his last 6 starts. The latest start was in Grade 1 in Open Company. Still retains his novice status, and I don't even think Final Demand's going to go into the race off a mark of 157, is he?
No, maybe not.
I
No.
thought 33 to 1 was mad. Just throwing it out there
Mm.
as an alternative with the novice rules as they are, because he won his first chase in May. His novice status will
Yeah,
remain.
I love that. I really like that.
He's
Again,
going to end up in the Ryanair, though, Liam.
nah.
He might not even go, Jay. He might be
Yeah,
told.
yeah,
He won the Galway plate, didn't he? He might not
yeah,
even.
yeah, yeah. He was really impressive in the Galway plate. So.
Well, he's been running over 3 miles. Obviously, he won the Galway
He's
plate
two
as
and a half
well.
miler, yeah. Yeah, 2.5 miler.
So yeah, just one to consider. Affordale Fury obviously went and won the Savills, and he's beaten him by 4.25 lengths in October at Gowran. So look, just one left field I thought was a ridiculous price. Is there anything else you can see getting involved, or anything else that any of you want to say on Final Demand, or shall we skip on?
Just,
I just, I'll just say I have pretty much. Me and Joe both know this. I have literally like the complete polar opposite view to Joe. I agree on the form. There isn't a lot of form lines. Obviously, you're banking. The form really at the Turners isn't really working out. But I do think this horse wants 3 miles novice. Well, not novice yet. 3 miles. I think he's more of a Gold Cup horse than he is of this year. Like as in this, not like he is like your old school, just solid, rock solid chaser. Like I just think he's going to grind horses into submission, especially a track like Cheltenham. I know we can all say, "Oh, did he get up the hill? Didn't like." They're just completely different races, different horses. Like everything about it's going to be so different in March, and I just think you'll see a completely different horse. The only thing that I think people will crab, and it's a bit like Joe saying he automatically doesn't like hype horses. I think it's just because of the price. Like if you'd started the season and this horse was say I don't know 8 or 10 to 1, I think a lot more people would have gone, do you know what? Actually, I think that's a fair price to give that a
yeah,
shot. And then a lot more people would have been on board originally. And then when they're watching these chase days, he may have looked slightly laboured, but you listen to Ruby Walsh himself normally talking about another horse. You want to win a race with the minimum amount of fuss possible outside the big occasions. Like I think a negative for Constitution Hill is how impressive he was. Is the fact that he hasn't gone on from his Supreme and his Champion. I know he's had loads of issues, but he was so explosive. He couldn't keep himself. Whereas you look at the longevity of horses like Hurricane Fly, Big Bucks, like they will go through brick walls for you, but they only ask for the minimum amount when they don't need it. And I just think he's only doing the minimum amount. I think his real Achilles heel will be the DRF. He won't want fast ground. And going back over that 2 mile 5, 2 mile 6, if he comes up against the likes of Romeo Coolio and faster types, that's when he'll be vulnerable. But I think if he gets soft ground, the non-Marine National ground, come March time, I just think he's going to grind them down.
he might not end up with many rivals as well. We've obviously got to consider that. If
If he
Romeo
wins the
Coolio-
DRF, he's going to lose a lot of.
Yeah.
He's going to lose a lot of the Irish contenders.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully they'll all line up. The big Westerner, Romeo Coolio, Kitswell, and then obviously you've also got, go on, Joe.
Wendigo, the winner. No, I'm joking, but
Wendigo, yeah.
Wendigo.
So yeah, hopefully it'll all turn out to be a cracker. And a horse, Jamie, I'm going to come to you because I know that you love this mare. Spindleberry. The owners wants to go to the Gold Cup. I don't think that's a fight he's going to win with Willie.
No.
Penalty kick for you, I think. You really like this mare, don't you, for the mare's chase?
Certainty for the Mayor's Chase. Wouldn't put you off because then you might be on for the Gold Cup. So the Gold Cup is wide open. Why not? Have a go. The owner, after Clonmel that day, was adamant, I want to go for the Gold Cup. Yeah, have a go. Do you know
Seems
what I
like
mean?
that,
That's just me.
doesn't it?
But look, I think she'll beat Dino Blue in the Mayor's Chase, all jokes aside, Liam. Look, she wouldn't be out of place in the Gold Cup because it's wide open. So, best
Yeah,
of
do
luck
you
to them.
see?
But
Did you see Willie's comments though after
I know,
Doncaster?
I
Like
know, I
when
know.
he got asked, and Guy was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"No,
He stuttered.
no,
He
no."
stuttered, Pete, didn't he?
He's
He
like,
stuttered.
yeah, he's like, no, she won't be going there.
No, no.
It
But
was like,
yeah, if she doesn't go, Liam, all jokes aside, she is a penalty kick for the Mayor's Chase.
Fair enough. Pete, do you think that she has got the beating of Dino Blue? A bit short for me, to be honest, this far out, but she's proven she can go both ways round.
yeah, like I like Dino Blue, and she sets a standard, but no horse has won it twice yet. I think, yeah, I mean, you could if you're into the shorter prices, like I wouldn't put anyone off having your saver and then the win bet on Spindlebury because it looks a 2 horse race for me already. Like I was really disappointed with Jade de Grugy. I really liked her. I just thought she's got a really good profile for it. I'm not sure how she shapes. She might come on with time, but she just doesn't really shape well enough. And I think that's a 2 horse race already. And I'd be leaning with the younger model as well in Spindlebury.
No, fair enough. Joe, anything to add, mate?
Just quickly, yeah, I mean, Jamie put me on to Spindlebury a long time ago, to be fair, and he said, "Oh, it's a proper mare." And ever since I've sort of watched her, and she is, he's damn right, she's a proper good mare. Bit of speed, good jumper. She's by an interesting sire as well called Policymaker, who also had Chacun Pour Soi. Just for those that are interested, just hasn't produced many smart ones, but Chacun Pour Soi and Spindlebury seem to be.
Right, go away now and put the kettle on.
Hey, there we go. And yeah,
Let's
look,
hope
yeah,
Pendlebury's
good mare.
travels a bit better then.
She's quick. She's quick as well. Like this is why I like the big Western for the Browns, like because she'd have no chance at 2.5 against Spindlebury. Like Spindlebury, quick
The
jumps.
proper horse. She's a proper
Yeah,
horse.
proper mare. Yeah.
Fair enough. There wasn't much competition for no drama this end. At least the British have got a bit of a handle this year on the novice hurdles. Perhaps not the tide is turning, but the British trained
Yeah.
horses become more competitive. Jamie can raise his eyebrows as much as he likes, but I think it is fact.
Oh, you'd be here now in a minute saying you're going to win the Presbyterian Cup. Best of
Oh,
luck, lads.
I,
Best of
could,
luck. Best of luck.
I could not care less
I
about
like Pete. I like Pete's face. He's staying stone faced. He's saying nothing. I like that.
could
I
not
want
Come
the
on, Pete.
Irish
Tell
to win.
me.
All my bets are Irish based anyway.
Ah, thank you, Pete. That's why I like you, Pete.
So if England win, if GB win the Presbyterian Cup, is no good for our betting. Like so.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, unless it's Nicky Henderson, I maybe have a couple on his. Other than that, no
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah.
I want to throw a couple of skeletons in there.
Yes, true.
Yeah, in the
Skelton,
handicap.
Skelton's doing the right thing at the moment, Liam. He's form is only A-OK at the moment. He's dead right too. Leave it till March, and he's dead right.
No drama this end. Jamie, you have taken to this horse, I think. Obviously,
I put him up. Yeah, me and Joe were arguing about him. Who's going to get him? Yeah, I really like him. I'm just very. I wish I saw the other Skelton horse that he beat Warwick that day. I thought that was a fantastic Warwick bumper for the time of year. Was it this time last year? I think wasn't it?
Yeah, got ran the other day. The Skeltons
Yeah.
won it, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, I think he needs soft ground to win the Turners, Liam, to be honest with you. If it's quick ground, no. Is he a Gold Cup horse or he's a bronze horse against the Yellow Clay next year? Yeah. I think it's between him and the Yellow Clay next year already for the Browns because I think Yellow Clay is not in love with hurdles. I'm very disappointed about that horse so far. Over hurdles because I thought he travelled in that stairs race last time. Bob Orr, like a very good horse, but maybe he's not a 3 miler, so he might be in a rock and a hard place as well. But no drama. This end reminds me a lot like of old Paul Nichols Browns horses. Yeah, he's really good. Would it bother me if he got beaten the Turners for the future? No.
No, fair enough. It wouldn't bother me one bit after doing a bit of analysis today. I think there's been two winners since 2000 of the Turners that then went on to win a Gold Cup when people have been quite bullish about crowning them just after winning a graded novice race. Anyhow, that is a side note. Pete, what do you make of this horse? Is it the rightful favourite for this race?
Yeah, he's probably the rightful favourite, but I'd agree with what Jamie just said. He wouldn't be bothered whether he wins, whether no drama with the wins Turners. And I don't think Paul Nicholls would. I know he wants Cheltenham winners, but he doesn't train them at 120%. So look at, like, obviously we spoke about it today, Liam. A lot of the Turners horses are all over the place. They don't know where they're going to go going forward. And a lot of them do peak and then they don't really do an awful lot. Like they don't kick on as stars. They're not like the Gold Cup horses. Like you look at Nichols's shallow winners that he's ran here, Brave Man's Game, Stage Star, Hermes Allen, they all go off short prices. All of them are beaten senseless. Like I just think the issue is with the Turners is like Joe said with you proof, like we haven't had hardly anything from the Irish yet. Like we're still scratching the surface. Willie Mullins is still trying to get rid of the flood at his gallops.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I mentioned with the DRF, I think by the time you get to the end of the DRF, you'll start having a much better picture. Even once we get the entries for the DRF, we'll know which horses Willie Mullins has actually got in training, and we'll be able to start trying to form a picture like what's Gordon Elliott going to send there. We'll get clues this week. He just would not be a horse I would go anywhere near. I was at Sandown as well, actually, when he won before, and he was an absolute menace in the paddock. Like he was going nuts, and I was like, "Is this normal?" Like, and he was due to go off at like 4-9 or 2-5, and he had like two handlers. He was booting around. He's wicked fresh and no issue in the race whatsoever. But he's just not a horse for exactly what Jamie said. I just think Nicholls is already picturing him in those colours, ready for Brown Advisory, Gold Cups, etc. This is just not.
He's the next top of the game, Pete,
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
knew top
yeah,
of the game was going to win a Gold Cup until he got injured.
yeah.
Yeah,
God,
I backed him for Brown Advisory as well.
Yeah.
yeah, smashed
Yeah.
it today. Joe, anything to add with regards to no drama this end?
No, I mean, look, you just don't back him now because he's going to go off at an each way price on the day anyway. If you like a muggy each way bet, so leave him for now. Very, very good horse though. I like him a lot, and like Jamie said, we sort of fought between us to who was going to get to put him up on our horses to follow. So we're in a bit of agreement. He's a good horse, but it'll be an each way price on the day.
Just while we're on this, I skipped over, so we may as well just quickly cover it, just in a couple of sentences each. Joe, Dr. Dominiel and Ballyfad, how they and Al Kairos, of course, how they got on. Al Kairos, we've touched on. He
Yeah,
looks like would have won.
yeah.
What about the other pair, Dr. Dominiel and Ballyfad? Did you make much of their performances?
Well, Dr. Duminil's obviously better than that, but I don't know how good. So I just can't back him. You're just going to choose a win whether you decide to back him for the Turners or the Bartlett. That's just not me. Ballyfad was brilliant. He's a really nice horse, but he'll be one again for chasing. Wouldn't be surprised to see him rank quite high up this time next year, actually. So maybe one for your tracker for now, but I can't see either winning at Cheltenham.
No, fair enough. Pete, any different opinion to that?
No, no. Well, I backed Dr. Duminil for the Turners pre-season. I just put a line through that run. Obviously, it didn't give me any confidence whatsoever having watched it, but he's back out to the price that I backed him at. So I'm just back to square one, and I'll just judge him on his next run. I wouldn't be getting excited by it, but yeah. And obviously, Ballyfad, very impressive. But again, I just have to think that a lot of the horses winning these big races at Christmas, they're not the ones that are peaking in March.
Yeah, fair enough. Jamie?
Barry Fair is a steer and chaser in the beat in American, Liam.
Typical.
The other race obviously was way better. El Kairos would have won by 10 lengths. I'm very happy actually with the run of Dr. Dumili because all the so has-beens on Twitter were going about, oh, Dr. Dumili is a Supreme Horse. Not the first cousin's a Supreme Horse. I was delighted with that. I actually took satisfaction to that because people are talking nonsense about him because he won a 2 mile 3 bumper at Cork. And it's a stairs track, Cork, even though it's a greyhound track, it's a long straight. Dr. Dumini, I'd have to wait to see him again, even though I tipped him anti-post for the Albert Bartlett. He's a 3 miler and a staying chaser. But El Kairos, Old Park Star, and Mossy Fen Road are the supreme horses at the moment. So.
Go on, Old Park Star.
Yeah.
We'll put some of the mares together. Brighter days ahead. Lossiemouth, obviously, they opposed, but Woodhoo also ran over the course of the festive period. Jamie, I'll just stick with you. What did you make of both, well, all those mares? Where do you think each of them line up? And we'll just chuck Amsterdam in for good measure as well, because obviously he was up against Lossie.
Yeah, 100%. Amsterdam, if we get Danny Mullins at the DRF, we'll know how good he is. Lassie Moat will run in the Mayor's Hurdle after the DRF.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Um, to say that Paul Townend came off the horse in our local broadcaster, Irish broadcaster in RT, right? Katie Walsh interviewed him. And Paul Townend said that Lassie Moat went again when Brighter Days had come to him. Talk about the biggest lie you'd ever heard in your life.
Other way round, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like, Brighter Days ahead will reverse the form with Lassie Moat in the DRF, but the fly in the ointment is Ansdam. So if Ansdam gets a proper jockey, Patrick Mullins is better as a chase jockey than a hurdle jockey. So to me, if Danny's on board, you might see better Ansdam, because I think he jumps like a champion hurdler, but you have to put the lid in him. He's a hard ride. Always say his head goes one way, his arc goes the other way. I wouldn't give up on him. I don't know what it is, and I'm taking a huge 360 on him. But there was something there I saw at the 2 mile race the last day. I think it will confirm at the DRF, Liam. Sorry for repeating myself. That it'll confirm at DRF that Lassimo will go to the Mayor's Hurdle because I think Brighter Days and ends of them reverse the form. So that is just heightens that Sir Gino is going to win the champion hurdle. So look, I think wait till DRF to judge it, but Lassimo will end up in the Mayor's and ends of them and Brighter Days ahead will end up in the champion hurdle.
Joe, if there's one horse, I really like Cheltenham form. We see so frequently horses that have won at previous festivals come back and win again subsequently. If there's one horse you can turn around who you could be forgiving to, would it be Brighter Days Ahead, given the ride she was given in the Mare's Novice? She left her season behind her at Christmas last season. She was drilled to the nines when she put
Yeah,
statement. She
yeah,
was over the top by the time Cheltenham came around.
yeah. It's definitely a different season this time. They're campaigning her more softly, if you like, or building her up when she was definitely geared up quickly last time. I don't like horses that don't act at Cheltenham. It's not like you go to Sandown, Kempton, Newbury, Warwick, and you can, depending on what day you go in, get things right. But Cheltenham is very much a specialist track. The undulations, the jumping up, jumping down, doesn't necessarily suit leggy horses. It doesn't suit Bright Days Ahead, and it doesn't suit Elite Tomp. I'm really, really sure about that. But I tell you what, hell of a race we're going to have at the DRF now, and hopefully we're going to have the same at Cheltenham. Because I think we'll do Lossie and Bright Days Ahead. I think they might all go to the Mayor's Hurdle, but we'll see. But yeah, look, Gino's in that champion hurdle. I backed him and Lossie in a double. That's one of the doubles I sort of done. So seeing it like sort of Jamie is, that's where she'll end up.
The biggest single outlay, because generally I'll chip away at horses throughout the year. Their prices might contract, but I'll have more on until the price gets to a point where I don't believe it's value anymore. The single biggest outlay I had last year in one go on one bet was on Lossy Mouth at 9-4 for the mares.
Yeah.
5-2 at the moment. If she remains that price in a few more weeks' time, she will be the biggest bet that I make in one single outlay yet again.
Good. Yeah, I'd say rightly so, mate, as well. She loves Cheltenham, doesn't she? Big bonus.
Yeah.
Big bonus.
Even if Woodhoo does turn up there at 5-2,
Would you put Woodhoo in the stairs hurdle, Liam?
I was thinking about this as we were talking about it, Jane. Well, not even necessarily up, but would I send one somewhere else and like?
He's already got Tearpoo and honesty policy, hasn't he?
Yeah, I suppose that. Yeah. But like,
Brighter Days Ahead back in, mightn't he? I think would be the only route.
I think she screams
to the
stairs
champion?
hurdle horse though, Pete, Liam, and Joe. I think she takes ages to get going. Do you know what I mean? I love her in the stairs hurdle, but as you said, Gordon has amount of riches in it. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I think if he didn't have the riches that he has, she'd be in the stairs hurdle. Yeah, and I back her.
Yeah.
Get back to Brighter Days Ahead. She left her season last year at Leopardstown. And I wouldn't give up on her because she should have been Golden Ace in the Mayor's Hurdle because I think Jack Kennedy I will never crib Jack Kennedy, but Jack Kennedy and Paul Townend that day were sound asleep in the Mayor's Novice because they disrespected Golden Ace.
God, what a mess
they really did. They really did. And I think the problem last year, she couldn't keep up with King Kingsfield in the champion hurdle. She could in Leopardstown, so her race was done from last year. That's just me.
Perfect. That is pretty much a wrap. We did have a few horses we wanted to mention with regards to those that caught our eye. I've got two. I'm happy to go first while you boys get your notes together. The first of which is Deafening Silence, who finished third in the Welsh National. He's gone up £1 for that. If you look back at the race prior and you go back and watch it, finished second, beaten 15 lengths by confusion, but was not particularly put into the race. Was staying on really nicely at Newcastle. I think these staying trips are well up this horse's street. Carrie Skelton had suggested it could potentially be a graded chaser before Deafening Silence got injured, but they've now had a clear run with the horse. Tristan Durrell gave him a peach the other day. He stayed on really well over that 3 mile 6. I think he could go back to Newcastle and is one for the Ida chase. So there's the horse for the tracker, and there's the target that I think he may be aimed at. The other ran on, I think it was New Year's Eve, and it's a horse that come off the flat, 92 rated flat horse from Aidan O'Brien.
Saratoga.
It is Saratoga that's gone to Mr. Roach,
Patrick Roach.
JP McManus. Mark Walsh couldn't find enough horses backside to ride this horse up.
Yeah.
He needs 2 more starts to get a mark in order to qualify for the Boodles. But JP's won this 3 out of the last 6 years, and of course has won it with the same trainer with Patrick Roach, when winning it with Brazil, when beating Gaelic Warrior. He's massively on my radar. 20s is available at the moment, but he needs to get out at Fairy House and then again at the DRF in order to get his 3 runs in to qualify. But Saratoga for the Boodles, potentially for JP McManus, and Deafening Silence, I think, will be lined up in the Ida chase in Newcastle. Mr. Wren, what have you got for us? Winners?
I broke it down to every day, Liam, when we said it afterwards. Not technically a horse that was eye-catching on St. Stephen's Day Boxing Day, but I go back to the race the Big Westerner won on the 26th year before. That was won by Kazansky. If you watch the race Kazansky run in Cork beforehand, a horse from Joseph O'Brien called Lalabo, who ran in the Aintree bumper won by Green Splendor last year. Lalabo was 4 lengths clear of that at Cork and fell after the hurl. He slipped. Put him in the tracker. Oh my God, he's an absolute certainty for a maiden hurler. Lalabo for Joseph O'Brien. The 27th. Who do I have? Oh, yeah. You go on about the Boodles. You know I'm Charles Burns 100%, right? The 3-year-old maiden hurl, the first race at Leopardstown that day, right, was won by the second string from Gordon Elliott, who was 20 to 1 or something like that. The third horse was Munsif, Munsif for Charles Burns. Looked like the winner of the race, jumping the last. Remember, Biker was second to the Boodles to Jazzy Matty. I think Munsif is in the race with Proactive and Macho Man the weekend, so hopefully he runs. If Munsif doesn't win and runs 3 times for the Boodles, I'm all over it. Yeah, I think he's an absolute cracking bit each way. On the 28th, the race is the Cocktail de Van race. Shuffle the deck. And Carl de Tourelle, a horse that you like for the Fenton, Liam. Massive eye catchers. They're going with massive handicaps. The 2 of them. What were they doing? Do you know what I mean? And the last one on the 29th, Mark Walsh give Fierce Handay was the name of the horse and a novice handicap hurl. Oh my God.
I've already missed a winner off that horse, Jamie.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We'll
say no more. We'll say no more. But he's definitely eye catcher, Fierce Handay. But they're the ones if you break down every day, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much, mate. Pete, I'll come to you, mate. Is there anything that went into your tracker or caught your eye over the festive period?
Yeah, there were loads, but I'll just keep it short. Just 2 from the same race on Boxing Day, and that was in the maiden hurdle behind Ballyfad. There's 2 that I think were getting lined up for potentially handicaps further down the line, or maybe they just needed the experience. But Safe for a Rainy Day, if Gavin Cromwell's finished 4th, pottering around in behind. He's been sent off 25 to 1 on both his starts so far. I just thought he was travelling well enough, but he was never really put in the race, beating 11 lengths. In the McManus colours, we know Gavin Cromwell knows how to handicap a horse. And the other one was Timto, who was quite a lofty purchase for Henry de Bromhead. You could make a case that this horse maybe tried towards graded races, first, was second on debut, and then finished fifth here. But again, was just travelling like really quite stylishly in behind, never put in the race. And I just thought both of these two further down the line, if they continue to proceed at graded races, then they're probably going to get beat 5-10 lengths each time, and then suddenly they'll look very well handicapped when they drop into the right race.
Timto and Save for a Rainy Day, was it?
Yeah, they finished fourth and fifth behind Ballyfad.
Perfect. Thanks very much, mate. And Joseph, have you got anything for us to put up a few quid in the skyrocket?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the if every time I asked myself what was my performance of the festival, it was you proof. Like I said, who won the race, beating King's Bucks. I just can't believe I wasn't spoken about more of. Like I said, 25-1, 33-1, well worth a punt now. Confusion was obviously really impressive at Weatherby, another 7 length winner, backed into odds on and a handicap. This thing just keeps improving. That being said, he was progressive. The connections don't seem keen on going to like the Ultima or anything. I've put up active authority for the Pertemps, my only handicapper at the moment. And I'm quite proud of this one because I said he's going to run at Newbury, he's going to finish fourth. He ran at Newbury, finished fourth, and then it's just minded him now to the festival. But also, a horse won for Paul Nichols called Absolutely Doyen. He won at Wincanton on the 26th. He's on a spin of about 4. He's still on a mark of 132. He's winning like a horse that's deep in the 140s. So even though everyone's looking at no drama this end, saying that's the likeliest winner for Paul Nichols, I wouldn't be surprised if this Absolutely Doyen, who's 25-1 for the Pertips at the moment, has a bit of a shout. But the one horse, real dark horse, actually fell at Christmas at Limerick, a horse called Conyers Hill for Paul Nolan. I don't like finding horses for like things like the plate, but he could go to the Grand Annual, but he's a 2.5 miler this. He was running a huge race and he was really well backed over 2.5 miles. Looked to me like he was running a personal best, and I didn't even back him. And coming around the back end of the home turn, he was creeping closer on the outside, and I was like, oh no, I've left one and it's going to bolt up here. Anyway, came down. Looks like a horse that's got 10, 12, 13 pounds in hand for Paul Nolan. I'd imagine next stop is Cheltenham. And maybe I found my first ever plate winner because it's a record, a race I have a dreadful record in. But I like this horse, Conyers Hill, because he won't go noticed by many at 33-1 for the plate.
Love that. Not just the horse, you get the day as well. I'll tell you what, we'll double check offline. But for those of you who haven't been able to follow all of those, I've made a note. I'll send them to Joe. We'll either stick them in the description for you all or stick them in the comments so you can all stick them in your trackers. Just finally, lads, your performance of the festive period in this obviously extensive review. Jamie, what was the best performance over Christmas and New Year?
The horse that fell in the maiden hurlet for the
That was
KTDA, El Kairos.
Oh, Al Kairos. Love it. Pete, your performance of the festive period.
So, Gino.
Joe?
You Proof and the Big Westerner.
I also really liked You Proof, so that one would be the one for me. As always, please like the episode, subscribe if you haven't already. Get your comments down below with your performance of the festive period. We really appreciate all of the support. We hope that you've enjoyed the show, and we'll be back again for another episode in not too long.
Big thanks to Pete as well. Just want to say big thanks
Yeah,
to Pete.
cheers, lads.
Yeah, giving us a lot of time. I know.
At risk for rewards.
Yeah.
Follow him.
Yeah, well
cheers,
worth having a look at, Pete is, and like I say, you've got a website and things there as well if you want to follow his content a little bit more closely too. So yeah, at risk for rewards. But yeah, sorry, Liam.
Cheers, lads.
Oh, magic. Yeah, no, thanks a lot, Pete. And obviously we'll see you all on the next episode.